people. Let me stop my little music here. Hey. We are streaming live on YouTube. Hello, everybody. Hey. Siafu's always here first with her hey. How's everybody doing? How you feeling? Talk to me. I feel good as hell. Woo. All right. Okay, so let me, sorry. I'm always struggling with the technology. Hey, Charmaine. Hey, Rachel. Siafu, Regina. Who else is here? Y'all be sneaking in and just be quiet, trying to hide. I can see you. I can see you. You might try to be quiet, but I can see you though. All right. Hey, Ian. May have to leave early. That's all right. We're going to be on YouTube. The recording will be on YouTube. Y'all know I'm long-winded, so we're going to be here for a while, but it's okay. We're going to kick back and have a conversation. Is Pavitra in the house? Pavitra, if you're here, say hi. I can't see from the list. Pavitra. There she go. Listen. All right. Pavitra to the front of the room, please. Pavitra to the front of the room. Listen, speaking of feeling good as hell. Give me a minute, because I have a dedication to Pavitra. Hang on. Give me a minute. Hang on. Okay, Pavitra. She's gonna know what this is about. Y'all wouldn't know what this is about, but you're in Sri Lanka. Oh my gosh. All right. So I really got to do this dedication to you then. Okay. So pardon me, everybody else. We're just going to party for about 40 seconds here in honor of Pavitra. She left me it was a post on my last video regarding a fella in her life. So I'm going to play this just for you, girl. Okay. Everybody else, you just party along with us. Pavitra and I are going to know what this is about. Okay. Hang on one second. Hang on. Listen, if he don't love you anymore, then walk your fine ass out the door. Everybody say. And do your hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? All right. That was in honor of Pavitra. I know I'm going to get a YouTube strike, but that's all right. Woo, how you feeling, girl? Baby, how you feeling? Feeling good as hell. I'm going to get to your question in a second. Well, maybe in a few minutes, but we're going to be here for a while. Pavitra, girl, I hope you're feeling good as hell. If he don't love you anymore, just walk your fine ass out the door. Feeling great. That's good. All right. We're going to tell everybody what that's about later in the story. So we have so much to share today. I have so much to share today. But first, I'm going to bring our YouTube family, who is not on my email list, up to snuff with the email that I sent out. So I'll just read the email really quick, and then I'll tell you what the agenda is for today. And then we're going to roll into a whole bunch of storytelling and experiences and evolving and everything. So here's the email that I sent out to my email list, if you're not on my email list. This live stream was inspired by a private conversation with a friend. It has been brewing within me for almost 2 months after having the same conversation with a client. Come prepared for a soul-stirring, consciousness-expanding event filled with my own personal experiences, some comedy, we already had some of that, some life stories, and the invitation to spiritually expand in ways that you may never have considered before. I might step on your toes a little bit. Yes, I might. And this awakened conversation may challenge you in new ways. But if you do expand in this way, your level of inner peace, joy, contentment, satisfaction, and unshakable spiritual badassness in this lifetime will truly be unrivaled and experienced at a whole nother level. This is one live stream conversation where I'd highly recommend being here live to fully experience the collective energy and conversation on this topic. We'll have Q&A as well. 2020 is the year of remarkable shifts, and it is time for this awakened conversation as usual. Grab your favorite beverage, some popcorn, your favorite snack, gather the family, get comfy, get ready to fully charge from an entirely different perspective. If it resonates, we'll see you on Sunday. So that was my opening for my email list. And I'm going to dive right in. So I'm going to tell you where we're going to go today. First, I'll give you a little bit of an analogy as a backdrop, because this analogy fits with what I'm going to share today. I'm going to share with you what this analogy represents. I'm going to share an audio with you. I'm also going to share a video with you. We're going to be exploring how this shows up in our lives in many different ways. I'm just going to go through different aspects of our lives and how this not being fully charged shows up. And then I'm going to end with exploring how we can all evolve to the experience of being fully charged in our lives. So let's go. I'm going to start with my analogy first. Hang on, I have too many windows. Hang on. Too many windows open. Okay, hang on. I do my hair toss, check my nails. That song has been on repeat for me. I love her too. She is a plus-sized woman that looks herself in the mirror every day and says, I love you, you're perfect, and you can do anything. Have you seen her on stage? She don't care. Lizzo, I love her. Okay, so let me go to my analogy again. This is, I know Siafu, she's gorgeous and she has such positivity. Any woman that thinks you overweight, you need to go look at Lizzo for a little bit. Because listen, Lizzo not playing with y'all today. She's like, yes, I'm fat and I don't care. I am good as hell. You know what I mean? She's just awesome. I just love hearing her motivational talks. I don't listen to her much. I just caught her good as hell song and I was like, who's this woman? Because you know, I live in a box. But I'm like, who's this woman? I started clicking around on a bunch of her videos. I'm like, oh, I like her. You know, very highly motivational and just very positive in the way that she sees life. Okay, so I'm going to go to the analogy first. Hang on while I share my screen. Whoops, hang on. Share screen. Okay. So this is my car. I'll share why I'm sharing my car. This is my car. I call her Betsy. She about to turn 21. I had her since my son was 3, my first son who's 25, 3 or 4 years old. And I refuse to get rid of this car. Listen, this car has ran into walls thanks to 2 teenage drivers. People have hit me on the road. The funny thing about, they don't build cars like this. This is a 2000 Toyota Avalon. They don't build cars like this anymore. People have hit me from behind on the road and their car crumbled. And I come out and I go, wow, sorry that happened to you. My car is still strong as ever. They used to build cars really strong back then. Not anymore, which is why I refuse to let go of it. But it's part of the analogy. And when they built this car, apparently they didn't think she'd last past 2018 because the clock stopped when 2019 hit. The clock, the date, you can't set it past 2019, 2018. It was so funny. but she is alive and well and kicking and looking damn good for her age. I actually just took this picture. However, a lot of things have changed with regard to cars over the last 20 years. I wouldn't know because my car still has a CD player. But a lot of things have changed. There's MP3, not MP3, there's like, you know, Bluetooth in cars now, all these different things, right? And now there are electric cars. This car, I have to take it to the gas pump every time I need it to go. And I need to fill it up, right? I need to go to the pump, fill it up. Now there are fully electric cars that you could plug in at home. And there are even electric cars that have a solar powered roof where while you're driving, the sun is charging it up for you. Okay, sun is charging it up for you. And you don't have to plug it in at all. It's just being charged, right? Hence the fully charged title of this live stream. So let's go with that analogy. So there's gas-powered cars where you have to go to the gas pump, fill it up, right? There's electric cars that you can charge at home, or you can charge it on the road as well, but you can charge at home. And then there's solar-powered cars where always charging. So that's my analogy. Let me unshare here. Okay. So let's talk about what I mean by that. And I'll give a little backdrop to the audio that I'm about to share here. One second. Okay, so the backdrop is this. I had this personal conversation with a friend of mine who was sharing the amazing things that's happening in their life. And for a few of my friends, when I connect with them, we have audio chats, right? Where they'll talk to me by audio, send it to me. I'll talk to them by audio, send it. I prefer that, by the way, than talking on the phone. If you're ever trying to call me, don't call me. Just send me a voice text and I'm gonna get back to you. And I'll be very thorough in getting back to you, but I don't like being held hostage to the phone. I like voice chatting, and that just feels better to me. And a couple of my friends, we do that together. So this was a voice chat that I had with someone about 2 months ago. And when I knew that I was ready to share what I'm going to share with you all today, I went back to that voice text because I tend to do it on my iPhone with voice recording. And I always forget to delete the voice recording after I have the conversation with the person. And in this case, I'm glad I didn't, because I went back and I listened to it. I was actually listening to it last night. And I realized, listening through the whole thing, I was like, well, this is exactly what I want to say to people. I think I'll just clip out the parts that are personal and share the audio recording. So you're going to hear an audio that was not meant to be public. It was a private conversation between my friend and I. And if my friend is looking, don't worry, no one's going to know who you are. I clipped out the parts that were personal. But when I listened to it again, I was like, I got back into the vibe of what I shared. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to share with people. This is exactly what I want to say. I don't want to change a single thing. I was sitting out on my deck when I recorded this. So you'll hear birds in the background. You'll hear kids playing in the background. And toward the end, my dog was revving up to start barking. He was like, so you'll hear all of that. There was a plane going overhead, but that's all right. I want you to hear the full thing. When I'm doing voice text with people, it's lengthy because y'all know I'm a chatterbox. So it's always like a 20-minute voice text. But this was like a 30-minute voice text, I think. But I trimmed it down to the part that I want to share with you all today. And I believe it's about 16 minutes long. It's about 16 minutes long. So I'm going to give you something beautiful to look at while you're listening to it. In parts of this audio, I got very emotional, and it wasn't because of what I was saying. Well, sort of what I was saying. It was more that I was re-experiencing the fully chargedness of what I was expressing to my friend. And anytime I go into that fully charged state of being, it spills out of my eyeballs and I get emotional and I get so full. And we'll talk about that in a second too. But first I want you to listen to the audio, and then I'll come back and talk about a little bit more about what this analogy means and different ways in which it shows up in our life, and also how we can evolve into that fully charged state, which I think is where this entire planet is headed, because when we remember who we truly are, we're fully charged. But when we forget, we're not. So I'm going to share this. And another backdrop to the conversation was they were sharing with me the beautiful things that was happening in their life. And while I was celebrating that along with them, I was also becoming very much aware that if they stayed in that place of only looking outside of themselves for feeling that richness, then they're missing out on being fully charged, right? So that's another backdrop to what you're going to hear. I'm going to set it up now. 1 second.
There was this
hang on. I'll make that bigger, and then I'm going to share this screen, and I'll let you all listen. Okay. All right, I'll be back once it's done.
There was this profound awareness that instantly landed within me. And the awareness was this: all of those experiences, joy, peace, fulfillment, sense of belonging, worthiness, nurturing, all of those things can be discovered within. And what I felt in your voice was almost this sense of relief that you are where you are. And whenever anyone feels that it's a relief to be where they are, or this sense of, oh, I finally am here, or, oh, I'm experiencing this now and it feels so good, there's this awareness within me that we all can experience everything that we think we need from outside ourselves, inside of ourselves. And so because I know that the nature of life is impermanence, and you've experienced this, so you know it too, finding joy, contentment, fulfillment, completeness, belonging outside of ourselves is nowhere near as powerful as it can be if we find it within ourselves. And so when I hear another human being, and it doesn't matter if it were you or anyone else, when I hear another human being finding a tremendous sense of relief and like a, oh, this feels so good, and the goodness that they're feeling is coming from outside of themselves, whenever there's an opening, I want to just squeeze in and say, you can find this inside of yourself too. Because if all of it is being found outside of yourself, then when impermanence plays in, it feels like that has left again, right? Find your worthiness inside of yourself. Find your sense of completion inside of yourself. Find your sense of belonging inside of yourself, such that whether external factors exist or do not exist, that feeling remains, because it is permanent. All human experiences are impermanent, but that inner knowing of who you truly are, and when you have found 100% completeness, belonging, love, worthiness inside of yourself, then it never leaves. It is always there. And that is where I am in my life. So I always extend that invitation to others. And it's an invitation, so you can decline the invitation, you know. This is not a done something wrong and you need to do it right. No, because I'm aware that there is no right or wrong in life. There's just experiences that allow us to have more experiences, right? And what I'm experiencing in my life today is this profound sense of worthiness, love, contentment, joy, satisfaction, completeness, a tremendous sense of belonging. And it is all coming from within me. It's all coming from within me. And because I know what that feels like, and because I know that there's nothing external to myself that can compare to what I'm experiencing internally, because I know this now, I always want for other people to be aware that that can also come from within you, and when it comes from within you, no one can take it away. One of the things that you shared in your message was having some aspect of that in your life and then missing it, right? And the reason we feel like we're missing it is because it's coming from outside. If your wholeness, your worthiness, your sense of completion, your sense of belonging, your sense of satisfaction, peace, joy, fulfillment, whenever it comes from outside, someone else can take it away. You're out of control because someone else can take it away. And it's beautiful to find someone that feels good to you. And it's amazing to be in the embrace of someone that you love. And it's so beautiful to look into the eyes of a newborn baby and know that that's part of what your experience is supposed to be. And it feels so good and so joyful and so amazing. And all of those human experiences are truly amazing. And it's even more amazing when you know that whether that exists or not, you have that. It's yours, and it's yours forever, and no one can take it away. No circumstance or situation can take it away. On my last live stream, I don't know if you listened to it all the way through, but there was a part where I was sharing that I can no longer feel like I can fall in love with somebody. And afterward, I was realizing why I know that to be true now, and it's because I'm 100% in love with life. I'm in love with life. I am so in love with life that I wake up every day, and the moment I open my eyes, I'm smiling. I'm in love with life itself. The trees, the sky. My very existence is remarkably amazing to me, you know? And there is no human being and there is no human experience that can even come remotely close to the profound level of joy and the profound level of love, and the profound sense of belonging, and the profound sense of worthiness that I feel in my life right now. Why? Because it's all coming from inside of me. And there is this level of confidence that is through the frickin' roof, because I know that no one can take it away. And it took a long time for me to get here. And I'm not saying that you can get there instantly. All I'm saying to you is when you feel your sense of worthiness, belonging, fulfillment, joy, completeness, and it is all coming from outside of you. It's impermanent. And I want you to reach for not the impermanent things that bring you that, because they're beautiful when they bring you that. You know, it's beautiful to have all the external things that add to your joy in life. And I also want you to wake up and have all of that, whether or not the people in your life are there or not, whether or not the circumstances are there or not, whether or not you have a child or not, whether or not you have a marriage or not, whether or not you have a partner or you don't have a partner, this profound sense of joy and peace and fulfillment and that very same tone that you exuded in your voice of, I felt that in your voice. There was this, I'm feeling and experiencing all of these amazing things. And I feel that every day. And it is not coming from anything outside of me. And you can, like I said, this is an invitation to reach. You don't even have to reach. To remember, because it's not a reaching. The external things that we reach for is definitely a reaching, right? It's like I reach for a fulfilling relationship, I reach for love, I reach outside of myself for love, reach outside of myself for the joys of parenting, I reach outside of myself for all these other things that are very, very human and beautiful, beautiful, and remarkably amazing to experience as our human selves, because we are here to experience all of that too. But all I'm saying is when that is experienced from the knowing of who you are, when that is experienced, when parenting, I've never experienced the joys of parenting until I experienced the love for myself and didn't need the approval of my children, didn't need the love of my children to feel okay, didn't need them to approve of me for me to feel okay, right? And so I've never experienced the profound amazingness of parenting until I was in the place where all of my joy came from within, all of my completeness came from within, all of my worthiness came from within, all of my joy came from within, you know? And when all of what you want to feel comes from within, everything else that you experience, the lovers, the children, the relationships, the families, all of those things take on an entirely different flavor, because that ingredient of neediness, that ingredient of I need this to feel okay is not there anymore. So there's this spaciousness, right? There's this grandiose spaciousness for welcoming them into our lives, the lovers, the children, the families, the careers. There's this spaciousness for allowing them into our lives in a way that we have never experienced. And they don't feel as important, yet we get to enjoy them in an entirely different way because they're all optional to our joy. They're all optional to our completeness. They're all optional to our sense of worthiness. They're all optional to that remarkably depth, the remarkable depth of love that we feel all on our own. And all of those experiences, joy, love, belonging, completeness, worthiness, fulfillment, love, 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 all of that comes from within. And when it does, when all of that comes from within, it never goes away. And we get to experience life in an entirely new way. And that sigh of relief that comes from, I'm here, it comes from within rather than from external experiences. And the beauty is it never goes away. And I just wanted to share that with you. so that you know that all of that you're experiencing is perfect. It's perfect. You get to have all of those experiences. It's perfect. And you can also experience all of that from inside of the knowing of the amazingness of who you are. Know that from within you. And you will never need to miss it ever again, because no one can ever take it away. And I'd love to chat with you one day and you say, Allison, I feel it. Now I feel it. And I know what you mean. And I don't know if you know what I mean right in this moment. And whether or not you ever get to have that that internal experience of 100% completeness, I don't know. Whether or not that you do, it doesn't matter. I just want you to know that that's there for you too. Everything that you're experiencing is perfect, and I love what it's bringing into your world. I love what it's bringing into your experience. I love it. I love it. I celebrate it for you. Celebrate it for you. And I know that it can all come from within as well, such that it never has to be missed. Because every day you wake up, there it is. Every day you wake up, there it is. Whether the people come and go, the relationships come and go, the experiences come and go, the circumstances come and go, it's all there for you. Permanent. That's the only thing that's permanent. All of the human experiences are beautiful and beautifully impermanent, because it was meant to be impermanent, right? We're here to explore a lot of different things. And when we find the permanence of who we truly are and know it and experience it from within, oh my God. If I can only bottle up what I'm experiencing right now and give it to everyone on this planet, I would. I truly would, because no one would ever go through the pain and all the things that they experience, you know? But I can't take anyone's pain away, and I can't take anyone's experiences away, and I know that they all have to be experienced from the places that they are right now. But I just wanted to share with you all that is also possible, you know? And I want to end by saying, go enjoy everything that you're experiencing right now wholeheartedly, and celebrate them wholeheartedly as well as you continue to journey to the inner experience of all of that too, you know?
So there it is. Let me go to some of your. Hey, Calric! Oh my gosh, my internet nephew. Hey! We go way, way back. Hey, Calric! Mike says spot on. Rachel says I was literally speaking to my higher self about the not falling in love with somebody and feeling okay with that and not needing anyone to be okay. It's so amazing. It's liberating. It's liberation. Tobago says beautiful. Mike says there is no external, only a mirror of within. If only we would know that in every moment, right? If only we would know that. So I'm going to expand a little bit more on, hi, Latoya. I'm going to expand a little bit more on this analogy, right, of being fully charged, and then explore different areas in our lives where and what it looks like when we're not. Because there's some areas in our lives where it's easy for us to go there. Like, I'm a friggin' autonomous, independent being. So it's very easy for me to not be depending on a relationship for anything. But I also want to clarify that my autonomy and independence is not the source of my joy. that can also be a gas pump that I go to get gas, right? Because we could source our joy from a particular status in life, and that's not where I'm at. Whether I'm in a relationship or not in a relationship, I'm fine. You know what I mean? So in a less evolved state of being, what happens is we walk out into the world and we look for all kinds of ways to gas up, right? All kinds of gas pumps. We go to our children. If they forgot our birthdays, we're like suffering because of it. If they forget to call us, we're suffering because of it. Those of us with adult children. If they make us feel like we're not a good parent, we're suffering because of it. In a relationship, if the person doesn't do this or that, we're suffering because of it. And that's us going to a gas pump. We're running low on gas, so we have to go to the spouse to get a little bit more gas. We got to go to the kids to get a little bit more gas. But we can be fully charged. We can plug in at home, which a lot of us do by being still, going into stillness, meditating, whatever. We'll talk about that at the end too. But we can also be solar powered, right? No matter where I am, my energy is sourced from within. My joy is sourced from within. My sense of completeness and satisfaction is sourced from within. So for me, it's very, very clear that we're shifting into a world where we become more of our true selves. And when we become more of our true selves, we become, I don't want to say less of our human self, but more like less identified with our human selves. And we begin to see that everything we're looking externally for and living in the perception that we're getting it from outside of ourselves, we get fully charged from within. We get fully charged in and of ourselves. And we can walk around fully charged. In the audio that I shared, the conversation with my friend, I said, if your sense of completeness, worthiness, satisfaction, peace, contentment, if that's coming from outside of yourself, someone else can take it away. Because you're there, your gas pump. You're going there to fill up. You're going there to get appreciation. You're going there to get worthiness. And if they decide, I'm not going to compliment you today, I'm not going to tell you you're beautiful, I'm not going to tell you whatever, then you feel dried up. You feel like you have to go get gas somewhere. I'm running on empty now. I got to go get gas. But when you're solar powered and you are an electrified being, right? And your power source is within, then nothing that's happening out here affects you. And let's go through a few different things in that area. Siafa is saying, I think we are in the process of transforming what it means to be human. Yes. Yes. We're becoming more the light beings that we are and less this fourth dimension human selves, right? We're moving more into the fifth dimension. And we can all feel that. We can all feel the shift into the new world. We can feel that something is changing on this planet. And I do believe this is part of the shift and part of the change, is that we become more liberated and we become more free, and we experience freedom from attachment to external sources for our joy, for our peace, for our contentment, for our worthiness in life. So we talked about kids. I'll share with you a couple things. When I became a single parent, I think it was about 18, 19 years ago, I truly felt inadequate. And because I had two boys, I was constantly checking their reaction to me to evaluate if I'm doing a good job, right? Or checking their reaction to the world. A lot of what we do is check our children's reaction to the world to evaluate if we're a good enough parent. Oh, look at what they're doing. I wasn't a good enough parent. They're doing this now. I might have not been a good enough parent, right? And you're looking to the behavior of your children and the choices of your children and their decisions for your worthiness and for your feeling of I did okay. You know what I mean? And it was quite a while that I was doing that. And in a more silly way, I love to cook. As you guys know, I love to cook. And when my kids didn't like what I cooked, what? Because I put all my all into this cooking, And now neither one of them eats what I cook because most of what I cook is vegan and none of them are into that. Neither one of them are into that. So they cook their own meals. And if I feel like cooking for them, I will. If I don't, they know how to source their own meals at this point in their lives. They're 18 and 25, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I would feel so hurt. Like, what? This is my food I made for you. How could you not like and appreciate it? And we do that with our kids too. If your kid forgets Mother's Day or they forget your birthday or they moved out of the house. I remember having a conversation with my sister years ago, and she said, when my kids become of age and they go off to college, they better not forget to call me because I will be very hurt by that, right? And that's such a heavy dependency that this child has to honor for you to feel okay, because you can't be okay unless they call you a certain number of times, unless they pick up the phone and say hi and tell you ask you how you're doing. I remember when my son was he worked on a cruise ship for about 4 years as a dancer in the performing arts. And literally months would go by and he would never call me. And his dad would call me and go, have you heard from CJ? And I'm like, nope. I'm assuming that he's having a blast in life while his dad is feeling hurt that this son of mine doesn't care about me enough to call and at least say hi. And he didn't even call me on Father's Day. And he didn't even didn't text me on Father's Day. And we can latch on to what our children are doing or not doing for our sense of worthiness. I'm worthy as a parent, or I'm worthy as a mother, I'm worthy as a father. For me, I am so aware that I'm simply the vessel through which these two souls came to explore Earth, that they can do whatever they want. They can remember my birthday, not remember my birthday, remember Mother's Day, not remember Mother's Day. I'm also at the place in my journey right now where all of these holidays really don't mean anything because I know they're completely made up. So none of them have that much meaning for me anyway. But I don't look to my kids for anything. They don't need to call me if they're going out. They don't even need to tell me where they're going. They're both adults. They can go have their fun wherever they want to have their fun. They don't need to tell me anything. You just go, if you need to call me, call me. If you don't, you don't. If you need my input and advice or something, I'll give it. Otherwise, I'm not getting into your business. You're here to explore your own human experience. Unless I feel spirit is calling me to say something. And in that moment, I'll know because I feel an opening within them and we come into each other's experience. And because of that, there is an opening for conversation. But I don't feel like I need to sit my children down and tell them this and tell them that. And a lot of what we do with regard to our children, we're doing it because we don't want them to screw up and make us look bad. You know what I mean? We don't want them to make poor choices or poor decisions because that will make us feel like we failed as a parent and then we feel bad. And there's a lot of dependency there for a lot of parents. And that's a gas pump that you're going to. You don't need that. Let go. At the end of this broadcast, I'll share with you how I let go and the ways in which what my journey looked like in terms of getting to where I am today. Not that you need to get to anything, but we're all evolving. What my evolutionary path was. Toward the end, I'll share that as well. Andrew is saying, hello, my awakened people. Hey, Andrew, welcome. So kids, sometimes we go to them as our gas pump. We need to fill up. I need to sit and talk to my kids. I need to hear them tell me that they love me and tell me that they appreciate me for me to feel okay. And we don't need that. We just don't need it. You're sourcing your sense of worthiness through your children. Leave them alone. Let them do what they came here to do. And some of you may say, well, geez, aren't we like encouraging our kids to not honor their parents? And this whole honoring their parents thing is a very human thing. These kids came into this world to have as I always say, take what resonates, discard what does not. If what I'm saying doesn't resonate for you, do what you want to do. But for me, these children came through me to have their own individual experience. And if they choose to include me in that experience, great, I'll happily be a part of it. And if they choose to exclude me from what they're experiencing, great. That is totally cool with me. And I don't feel like I have to be in their lives, especially now that they're adult children. Love relationships. So part of what I was sharing with my friend was that, right? Because they were expressing this sense of, oh, finally I'm in this relationship that feels so good. And that's awesome. But that's another gas pump. A lot of what happens in love relationships is you're waiting for somebody to go, you look beautiful today, or, you know, you did a great job at this or that, or I love you so much. And if you don't hear I love you, then you feel, I used to be like that. Like if I don't hear the words I love you, I'm like, something's wrong. Hey, wait, I'm feeling a little depleted here. I need to hear that. You know what I mean? And I am now in the place where I am aware that I don't need anything outside of myself. And again, toward the end, I'm going to share with you how you can move into this fully charged state. I feel fully charged. In a subsequent follow-up conversation with the person I was having that conversation with, I said, you know what it's like? You know what it feels like in this fully charged state? It's kind of like you go to a restaurant, your favorite restaurant, and you have your number one favorite meal. In fact, you have a 3-course meal, right? And you're eating, it's so good. The food is so good. It's so good. And then you're stuffed. You're like at the end and you're like, oh my God, ever had that? We've all done that, right? You go to a restaurant and you're like, oh my God, I'm full. And then the waiter comes, would you like the dessert menu? And you're like, oh, I only have space for dessert right now. Wait, give me 15 minutes for this to settle, and then maybe I can consider dessert. And that's what I feel like about life, is if a guy comes along, and where I am in my relationship status today, I call it single and dabbling. I'll give you a quick backdrop on that. In 2016, I was on a dating site, which I could never find myself on a dating site in this phase of my life. And even then, I probably wasn't the best fit for a dating site, because my dating profile starts off with, I'm not looking for anybody. I'm not wanting a soulmate. No, I don't need anybody to complete me. No, I don't need a long-term relationship. No, I don't. That was like the first paragraph of my dating profile. And then the rest of it was pure comedy, me poking fun at all these different statuses we had to choose from. And, you know, I had the most unique, crazy dating profile. I was just there to have the experience, right? I wasn't there to like land the relationship, get a man, right? I was so not in that space. But for whatever reason, I wanted to play on that playground. So I went and played at that playground in 2016. And literally in the space of 2.5 months, I had like, and this is no exaggeration, 60 different men contact me. And I had video dates and all these different things, and email conversations, and a few of them came to visit me here in Atlanta. And it was, and the reason that experience only lasted 2.5 months is by the end of the 2.5 months, I'm like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I've had enough fun on this playground. I deleted my profile and I left. And there was a handful of men, probably about 5, I can count on one hand, that I actually gave my phone number to when they came to visit me. And what is happening in my life is that every few months, one of them will show up in my life and go, hey girl, what's up? You know, and I call them flirtatious friendships, because all we do is flirt the hell off. And then we just naturally kind of drift apart. And then another one would resurface, hey girl, what's up? Hey, what's up? We'll have this flirtatious friendship for a little bit. And sometimes they'll come visit me again or whatever. There's one that I talked to yesterday, same thing. Hey, been a minute. What's up? What's going on in your life? And it's always interesting to go find out what has happened in the 6 to 9 months since we last connected. And he contacted me yesterday and said, hey, I want to come to Atlanta to chill with you. And I'm like, hey, cool. Come to Atlanta and chill. They all know there's nothing happening here. Nothing happening beyond a flirtatious friendship. So that's why I call myself single and dabbling. I said to my sister, I was like, I think I could spend the rest of my life in flirtatious friendships. That's enough for me. I don't need anything else. I'm turning 55 in 9 days on August 4th. And I spent 30 something years of my life in a relationship between marriage number one, marriage number two, and the guy that I was with in 2018. I've spent over 30 years of my life in a relationship, and I feel complete for now. I don't ever want to predict the future, but flirtatious friendships is perfect for me because they pop up just in the perfect right timing. I go through this flirtatious frenzy with this guy. I shouldn't call it a frenzy. It was just very fun. The guy that contacted me yesterday, he is freaking hilarious. When he shows up, every text, I'm literally falling over laughing because he's so damn funny. He's probably looking at me right now, but he's so funny. So when he comes to town, we go out to dinner or whatever, and we just laugh our asses off and have a fun time, and nothing else happens other than flirting. That's all that happens. And they all know that's all you're going to get, boo. I'm not going anywhere else because I don't think any of them are where I'm at. In fact, there's not a single guy that I know that is where I'm at in my spiritual walk and in my awakened state. And I can't have this level of conversation with any of them. They're all conscious, they're all, in some state of awakening, but here, no, they're not here. And so I can't see myself with any of them permanently. But the flirtatious friendships are fun. They're very, very fun. And I love it. And it's exactly where I want to be in my life right now. These flirtatious friendships pop up and I have my little go with them and I laugh and, we flirt with each other by text and some of them come visit me sometimes and it's fine. And then we kind of drift apart and we stop talking to each other and then boom, 10 months later, hey, what's up? And it happens in such perfect timing for me because I like a lot of space. I don't want to be texting with a guy 24/7 for months on end. And so it happens in a perfect timing. It arises and it dissipates and it's totally fine. So that's where I am in my own relationship status today. But, I'm open to something different as well, but I don't have an agenda for relationship. A lot of women and men, they're like, I want to find somebody and they have to look and sound like this, and this is what I want, and da 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 da. And I have my preferences, as you guys know: 6 foot tall, flat stomach, nice teeth, nice smile. I do have my preferences, but I don't walk around with an agenda with regard to relationships. Why? I don't need it to feel 100% complete. 100% complete. And when you're in the place where you need a relationship to feel 100% complete and you feel incomplete without it, you're at the gas pump, boo. And somebody is not going to have gas when you're ready to gas up. And you're going to be running on empty because you need somebody to feed you their appreciation, their love, their whatever, sex, whatever, in order for you to feel complete. And if you go through your life needing that and you have an agenda around that, that's not freedom. That's not liberation. That's dependency. You need it to feel okay. This is a tough one for people to even think about. But for those of you who are in a relationship right now, if that person decided, I'm complete with this and I gotta go. Yes, there's some degree of attachment that forms that's quite natural and you might feel some pain there. But do you know 100% know I'm gonna be fine? Like you walk in that knowing that no matter what happens with this relationship, I know I'm gonna be fine. That's what happened in my last 2 relationships, my second marriage and also the guy that I was with. It's when I knew that it was complete, I knew I'm gonna be fine. And whether these little flirtatious relationships that are quite shallow, but they're fun, even if they dissipated and never came through, like I'm never the one initiating it. It's usually them going, hey, girl, but even if they never showed up in my life, I'm full. It's like eating at a restaurant and the waiter comes and says, here's the dessert menu. I'm like, oh, I'm so full. And quite honestly, there are times when these flirtatious relationships show up and they're clearly intending to flirt with me, and that's fine. It's fun. Nothing else is happening. Um, and I'm full. Like I just, I feel so satisfied and I feel so full that I don't even have room for that. It's like, no, leave me alone, leave me alone. I'm here. Leave me alone. And that happens sometimes. And when we talk about how to get fully charged, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But there are moments in my life, there are phases, there are weeks, there are sometimes moments where I feel so full of my higher self, so full of my knowing of who I truly am, so high on my higher self that nothing happening in this earthly realm seems remotely interesting. And there are times when a guy is trying to connect with me where I'm trying to keep the conversation short because I'm full. I'm so full, babe. I can't right now. I'm so full that anything that they're offering, the conversation, the flirting, the whatever, feels so minuscule in comparison to what I am connected to right now that I don't have space for it. I literally do not have space for regular human interaction. Now, you can move in and out of that. So don't be afraid that, oh my God, if I go there to this fully charged space, well, maybe I'll never have fun in life. No, I make room for the flirtatious friendships now and again, and it's fine. I know when I'm up there, I know when I'm there, but I can also come down and play. I can go up there in this full state. I'm so full. God, I'm so full. Guy texts me. I'm like, dude, not now. I'm too full. I'm like, I don't need this right now. And not that I ever need it, but sometimes I feel so into this heavenly place, this fully charged place. I'm walking around solar powered and I am charged. I am so full. I'm so full that nothing anyone offers me feels remotely satisfying. And I feel it's literally like at a restaurant and I can't even look at the dessert menu right now. Some of them guys are real cute, so they look like dessert. But dude, I know you look like dessert, but I'm too full. I'm full right now, I'm really full. And when you are in that fully charged state, everything feels optional. Guys texting me, he texted me earlier today. He's like, hey, beautiful queen of the world. I'm like, whatever. I was in my fully charged state. I couldn't deal. I'm like, I'll text you after I'm done with this live stream. I'm too full right now. I'm too full. I can't go there right now. I can't flirt. I don't even have space for flirting right now. I'll get you later when I come back down. When I come back, I can talk to you. And that happens sometimes. He'll text me. A guy will be trying to talk to me. And I'm in that full place. I'm literally in that full place. And when you get familiar with this fully charged state of being, you can go in and out of it if you want. Because sometimes I'm in it and I'm like, I don't want to come out. I ain't coming out for nobody right now. I'm just, I'm so full. God almighty. This feels so full. And then other times I'm like, okay, let me go play in life now. Let me see what's happening in the real world. Not the real world, because this is the pretend world. This state is the real world, right? We think human life is the real world, but no, that's pretend. So you can be in that fully charged place in a relationship. And even if I were in a permanent relationship, permanent, ain't nothing on planet Earth that's permanent, boo. Everything is impermanent. Even if you there till death do us part, somebody's gonna get gone. That's the end of your permanence. So there's nothing that's permanent anyway. And once we get to know that there's not, everything is impermanent, we're not so attached. But when you tune into this fully charged state, you will find all of your attachments naturally releasing. Sometimes people say to me, how did you get to the place where you're not attached to this, or you're not attached to that, or you're not attached to whatever? And I didn't do anything to get unattached. What I did was I became fully charged, and the attachments naturally dissipated. It's a very different thing than going, let me try to be not attached. No, just get fully charged, and all those attachments will just fall apart. It'll just dissipate. So relationships, that's the one. I wanted to go back to your question, Pavitra, and let me see if I can remember it. I think it was, there's a guy in your life who is kind of being cold towards you. You don't necessarily feel like you want to be in a relationship with him, but you feel like there's some connection there. And your emotions were going up and down when you feel like you want to let go of the relationship, you feel off. And then when you go back to staying connected to the person, not necessarily in a relationship, you feel better. Toward the end, I'll share a video with you all as well in terms of sourcing from within, not sourcing from without. It may be true that for some reason you were meant to stay connected with this person, right? But you don't have to think about that, girl. Like if you were meant to stay connected, the connection will happen quite seamlessly. There's nothing you need to do. And the feeling of, I need to stay connected, I feel off when I'm not connected, even though I don't really want to be in this. And you said you were sexually attracted. I know the feeling. You're sexually attracted to this person, but you don't really feel like you want to be in a relationship with them. What I would invite you to do, because a lot of times when things like this come up, we go to our heads to try to figure it out. Let go of the figuring it out piece. Get really, really still. Really, really still. Give yourself the space of 20 minutes. Just not necessarily meditate, but just sit in the stillness and just ask for clarity. I want clarity around this. I don't need one thing or another. I'm just asking for clarity. And if you get it during that time, that's fine. If you don't, just go, I'll come back later. Maybe I'll get clarity later. But your emotions going up and down has more to do with what you may or may not be attached to. Because if you're fully charged, your human emotions, you ain't even paying attention to it. You're in the zone of fully charged. Your human emotions may be doing this thing. You're like, I don't know what you're doing over here, but I'm gonna stay here fully charged, right? And we're gonna talk about being the witness of all of that in a second too. But it's meant to stay connected. And there's a person in my life I feel this soul connection with. I don't necessarily feel like I need to be in a relationship with that person, but I do feel a soul connection, and they weave in and out of my experience too. But I don't feel like I need to think about that much. When they show up and there's connection that needs to be happening, the connection will happen. And when it doesn't need to happen, it doesn't need to happen. And I don't really care. You know what I mean? It's not like not that I don't care, but I don't mind whichever way it goes. So when you're in that fully charged state, you don't really care which way it goes. You don't care because you're here and that's happening over there somewhere, right? And you're here in this fully charged state with your solar powered self, and you don't need to gas up from that thing, right? You don't need to go to the gas pump to get anything from whatever's happening there. You're here fully charged, and you're okay with this existing in whatever state it wants to exist. But you don't need anything from it. So you can move through that and go, this is interesting that this is occurring. I don't know quite what it means. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, and you just be here in your fully charged state. And you can come out of it and dance with whatever you want to dance with over here. But ultimately, you're fully charged. Whether you're tapping into that fully charged state or not, you're fully charged. You're spirit. You're eternal. You're naturally fully charged. You don't have to do anything to be fully charged. You're naturally that way. What we do is things that make us feel depleted. Nothing needs to be done per se to be fully charged. That's your natural state of being. That's who you naturally are. That's your true self. right? So hopefully that helps. Just go, if you really need to figure out what it means, figure out, really don't. But if you want clarity on what this may be presenting for you, get still and ask the question. Get still, set the intention to receive clarity, go to your spirit and go, I don't know what this means. Is there anything I need to know about this? And get quiet. Let go of all your thoughts, all the attachments that may be occurring there, who he is, who he might not be, what happened last week, whatever. Let go of all of that. Let go of all your thoughts. Set the intention to simply receive clarity from your higher self, from your divine team, whatever, and just let that flow. And it'll come through. And there's nothing you need to do. If this person was meant to be in your life, they will be. The guy that I know that I have a very deep soul connection with, I feel like he'll be in my life forever. And he'll weave in and out, but he'll be in my life forever because of what I know about our soul connection, soul to soul connection. But I don't feel like I need to do anything or think about it much, or where is he now? What's he doing now? Go do what you need to do, boo. Another area of our lives, and just keep moving on with other areas. Another area in our lives where we go to the gas pump looking to fill up when we're actually solar powered is family relationships. And I'll share an example from my own life. When my dad passed away in January of 2019, as you know, both funerals and weddings bring out a lot of drama in families. Okay. Planning funerals and planning weddings bring out a lot of drama in families. So that's when I discovered that my family is dysfunctional. I went for 54 years and I didn't know that. I was oblivious. Anyway, I discovered that my siblings thought that I was the golden child of the family, and that my mother liked me more than liked all kinds of drama, right? Which really don't make any. But one of the things that happened was my sister, what came out of that was my sister thought my mother kept calling me and having conversations with me, but she doesn't call her. And my sister was desperately hurt by that. Like, why is mom never calling me? She's always calling you. She's always talking to you, but I'm here too. She has my number. How come she doesn't call? And she was so broken and hurt by that. Meanwhile, I don't need my mother to call me. You know what I mean? Sometimes my mother goes for months and never tries to call me, and we don't talk for months. And my mother's very, very autonomous and independent like me. So whether I call her or not, she's like, whatever, and whether she feels like calling me or not, she's like, whatever, I'll call you when I feel like calling you, right? And she and I are okay with that. But with my sister, she felt hurt that my mom was not calling her. And there's a lot of this crap that goes on in families, right? Who's the most liked kid and who does the parent like more than another? And that was going on in my family. I was completely oblivious to the fact that everybody perceived me to be the golden child of the family. And I saw the pain my sister felt as a result of what she perceived as my mother rejecting her. And she's an adult. She's an adult. She's not a child, she's 2 years younger than me. But we can carry this pain from family relationships too. Siblings not getting along, and parent and child not getting along, in-laws not getting along, all these things from family relationships, because we feel we need, like my sister was looking for her worth and her worthiness through how much my mother was connecting with her, or how much my mother was not connecting with her. So she felt unloved because my mother didn't connect with her as much as my mother connected with me. And she felt depleted in the love category because my mother wasn't calling her as much as my mother was calling me. And this happens a lot in family relationships. So evaluate that for you as well. If your mother calls you, or your mother doesn't call you. If your dad says he loves you or doesn't say he loves you. If your mother says she loves you or doesn't say she loves you. Are you sourcing your worthiness and your sense of love from that? Because if you are, that's a gas pump. And you electrified, boo. You don't need that. When you are fully charged, the play of existence happens, yes. The relationships happen, they're playing out in one way or another, but you're fully charged. And you can observe a particular relationship playing out in a certain way without being emotionally involved in it. Or you can choose to be emotionally involved in it, but be very aware of who you truly are. You're fully charged. You're fully charged. And some of you need to plug in and charge at home, meditation, whatever, do that. And some of y'all, you're already evolving to the place of being fully charged on the go. So you can be, and those of you who are in conversations with spirit, you know what I mean. You can be in a conversation with somebody is looking like a train wreck, but you're here, you're fully charged. And Asiafu sent me a story of how that played out for her, where somebody was going down going down the path of their own drama, but you're solar powered, electrified, and you're fully charged. You could charge up right in that moment. You could charge up. We'll talk about that toward the end. But right in that moment, you could charge up, right? And you can become fully charged in that moment. You don't need to go home and plug into your meditation. You could get charged up right in that moment. And they're going down a path of drama and all that, but you're fully charged. Now you're going to look a little strange because you're not getting drawn into to the drama, which is what happened with Siafu, right? She was in a conversation. I don't know if it was drama or whatever, but she wasn't getting drawn into it. And the person looked at her like, what's wrong with you? You think you're better than me, kind of, that kind of thing. And she wasn't saying anything. And she wasn't even feeling that. She was just feeling fully charged in that moment. And she didn't go down the path of the family drama. So when you get to being on the go fully charged, because some of you're not even aware that you can be in that state of fully charged. And you may only feel fully charged like right after a meditation, or you went out in the woods to walk and, it felt the energy of nature kind of charged you up. And that's okay, but you can be solar power charged. Like in any moment, you can go down in, boom, done, charged, right? Without the other person knowing that you were charging up, but you could be fully charged on the go in any circumstance and in any situation. So family relationships is another way. Pavitra is saying, family drama, any thoughts on how to deal with people who view you as their power source? That was one of my points. So let's go there. Hey, Vicky Lou. Hey, Claude. Gratitude Miracles. Hello. I forget the YouTube people are over here. Hello, YouTubers. People who view you as the power source. So people are coming to you to gas up. But don't you have to agree to that? Hello. Don't you have to agree? They can't take gas from you unless you let them know the gas pump is available. You know what I mean? So they're walking around, they're my 21-year-old Betsy, right? They're like, I need gas, I need a gas, but ooh, you look like somebody who could gas me up. Okay, I need some love from you, pour into me, please pour into me. I don't feel good today, pour into me. You know what I mean? And it's okay. I'm not saying that you can't encourage, uplift, and, do all of that stuff for people, because that's, we're here to be love. And when you walk around fully charged, people will sense that and they'll want something. They don't know what it is they're craving from you, but they'll want to reach out to you. They want to, like, people often tell me that around me, they feel uplifted, they feel lighter, they feel freer, they feel whatever, because I'm walking around fully charged, right? And I'm high. I have this high energy about me a lot. And people notice that and they come to me, even in the grocery store, people come up to me. But you have to know, you have to be aware. And what I will say about that, because this happens in my life in this way, sometimes people show up in my experience and I can tell that they're looking for validation and worthiness, because they know I offer that freely. And they're looking for validation and worthiness. And that's okay. I don't mind being a source of encouragement, a source of love, a source of all of that. But when I begin to sense that I'm becoming a crutch for this person, or I'm becoming their gas pump, and I feel like it's time for them to figure out how to be fully charged, not everybody is there. Only I can be there with more awakened folks, right? And there's about 3 or 4 awakened souls in my life that I have these voice chats with, and I can talk like this with them, right? But sometimes when I sense that somebody is coming to me because they feel depleted, and they're looking to me to be the source of their joy and the source of their whatever, I tune in. See, I'm fully charged. If you're not fully charged, you don't know what to do with that. But when you're fully charged, you can very quickly intuit what is happening in that moment. And I can tell the difference between this person was meant to be in my experience right now for me to be a source of encouragement, upliftment, and all of that for them, versus, they're just showing up because they don't know how to get this for themselves. And so my answer and my response is very different between the two. But if you're not fully charged and you're not tuned into your own intuition, you don't know which is which, right? And you just constantly there every time they need you to fill up their gas tank. You know what I mean? And you can become depleted by that too. But when you're very tuned in and you are accustomed to being fully charged, it's very quick for me. I can sense the energy of their interaction, and I can sense, they're looking for worthiness through me. They're looking for love through me. And I need to let them figure that out on their own. I don't need to be drawn into that right now. And I won't go there. And the conversation will be briefer. And I'll know that, because there are people who, because they know I'm free flowing with love and light and high energy and humor and, all these different things, they'll tap into me to feel that. If they're having a bad moment with a family member or a relationship or whatever, it's like, I'm having a bad moment. Let me go text Allison, because she's always high energy, right? And they're filling up from just me being always high energy, always positive, all of that, right? But I can tell when they're coming from that place of neediness versus the universe has aligned us for this particular conversation. I can tell the difference between the two. So that's what I would say to that. If they're viewing you as their power source, A, you're allowing that, and B, become much more aware to whether their sourcing of energy from you is okay in that moment, or if this is an opportunity for you to give them their power back. Because you can give them their power back in that moment. See what the question is and see how you can give them their power back in that moment. You can figure this out. If I were you, I'd get still and go understand this. That's how I would respond to someone, right? Where they're looking to me for the answer. And I want them to become much more aware of their power and not give their power away to me. And so I would answer it in that way in that moment. Siaf was saying, so amazing. Alignment is always now and can be accessed at any moment, in any situation. I can choose it. Yes. And you've done that so many times, girl. I know your stories. Pavitra is saying, but aren't they then get hurt feeling when we ignore them, especially for our lives? It's not ignoring. I don't ever ignore someone. What I do, my ear is ringing right now. Sometimes that happens when my divine team wants to chime in on something, so I'm being quiet to see if they do. Okay. It's not ignoring them. It's being aware of what would be for their highest good in that moment, right? So it's not like somebody reaches out to me and I go, I don't feel like talking right now. No, I respond to what they're giving me, but I respond in a way that elevates them, that gives them their power back, right? And they're looking to me for advice or for whatever. And I move within from that place of knowing that they are full and complete all by themselves. You have to see them as a complete being, just like you are a complete being. They may not be walking around fully charged, but they are. They just aren't aware that they're fully charged, right? All of you are fully charged. You just aren't aware. And it's just waking up that awareness so that you're not walking around trying to source your energy from other people. So, Pavitra, if you can, like, I'll give you a moment. I'll keep going, but give me a moment. If you can think of a particular situation and write it up for me, I can speak to a specific situation where you wouldn't know what to say when somebody's trying to pull energy from you, and you know that they're seeing you as their power source, and you don't know what to do. Just a quick situation. Write it up, send it to me, and I'll address it there. Because it's better sometimes to work with a specific situation. Another thing that came to me was this whole atmosphere of racism. Now, I'm not saying that racism's okay. I'm not saying that, I think all of this had to come up for us to deal with it. But a lot of what happens in the space of someone being racist to one another, the person who is the so-called victim of racism, because there are no victims on this planet, as we know as awakened souls, there are none. There are none. We all signed up to have the experiences that we're having. But sometimes what happens when someone feels like the victim of racism is they're feeling like their worthiness needs to be sourced through their employer or through this person or through whatever, right? If someone were to, as you know, I haven't had any experiences of racism, but if someone were to be or act in a racist way toward me, where I am right now, fully charged, I'll be like, well, this is interesting. And I would not feel hurt feelings from that, nor would I ever feel less than. I would be looking to them because I'm in my fully charged state. I would be looking at them with the realization that they're acting out of their perception toward me because of the color of my skin, which has nothing to do with me. It's who they are, you know? And so I don't need them to change for me to feel completely worthy, for me to feel completely like I am worth $1 million. You know what I mean? I don't need them to change their racist acts in order for me to feel 100% fully charged and 100% worthy and 100% perfect and whole. I'm not sourcing my worthiness from people who have racist tendencies. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of that may be at play there for some of you as well. So, and again, I'm not saying allow people to be racist. That's not what I'm saying. People will be whoever they're here to be. You will have the experiences that you're here to have. But check that too. Like if somebody in the workplace is having some racism towards you, what are you feeling? Now, it's okay to have the desire for that to be evolved to a state of love, right? It's okay to have that desire. But are you feeling a lack of love, a lack of appreciation, a lack of whatever as a result of that? Or are you witnessing that without needing to become emotionally involved in what's occurring there? Because you can be the witness of that, yet stay in your fully charged state. That opportunity exists as well. Workplace, again, playing out in that, the workplace situation where you need a promotion to feel worthy. You need your boss to tell you that you did a good job for you to feel worthy. You need your coworkers to tell you that you did a good job. If they didn't, like if you put in a bunch of effort, right, to get something done, get a project done or whatever, nobody said thank you. You go home feeling hurt, depleted. Why? Because you thought that was a gas pump to get some worthiness from. I'm not saying that you're not worth appreciation. I'm just saying don't source your worthiness from the workplace. If you didn't get the promotion, that doesn't mean a damn thing about who you are. And you have to know that. You have to know that. You have to know that to not be emotionally affected by it. because the workplace tells us that we have to do certain things in order to be worthy of this or that, worthy of a promotion, worthy of a bonus, worthy of accolades, worthy of your name being put on some plaque somewhere. You know what I mean? And if that doesn't happen, then you're not worthy. When you're fully charged, you walk this planet looking at all of that, and it looks like child's play. It's like, okay, I could play that game. I could play that little worthiness game, whatever. But at the end of the day, you go home fully charged because you don't need them to do anything for you to feel. Y'all not hearing me. Listen, you don't need them to do a damn thing for you to feel full of worthiness. And whether they give you a promotion or not, you feel so damn worthy that it don't even matter. It don't even matter, okay? Because you feel so worthy in and of yourself. So for those of you who are needing approval from your boss and needing approval from the workplace and needing this or that, you're worthy. You were born worthy, boo. You don't need that from your boss, from your coworkers, from your paycheck, from your bonus, from your name appearing somewhere where they put up all the great people of the month or whatever. All these child's play human things that happen on this planet. You don't need any of that because your solar power panel is downloading worthiness to you all day long. And you're looking around going, whatever. They can put my name there, not put my name there. I don't really care. You know, because you don't need it. You're fully charged. You're fully charged. Let me talk about clients as well. The old me used to be all about getting as many clients as you can and getting a steady stream of clients. My girlfriend and I had a conversation about that the other day. We were talking about this concept of getting a steady stream of clients, whatever. And I said to her, you know, I got to the point in my life where I no longer saw clients as the source of my well-being. So I no longer think in the arena of how to get and keep clients. That has nothing to do with my experience here on this planet. I'm doing what I'm called to do. Like we have our monthly Conversations with Spirit events, right? And it's a membership and you can come in and out of that membership. It's entirely up to you. In fact, I say in almost every single email, if you feel complete with this experience, click here and unsubscribe. Because what I said to my girlfriend is I got to the place where my freedom was more important to me than money. My freedom, not my freedom from clients, but my freedom was more important to me than living my life trying to figure out who's going to buy from me and how many people can I keep and how many people can I source, you know? And I just had to let go of that. And I said to her in our voice texting, I said, it got to the place where I was fine losing my home, going to live under a bridge, living in a homeless shelter, which I call a free hotel. I was like, I was ready to let whatever wanted to happen, but I'm not chasing clients and I'm not going after people. And if you want to leave, leave. And if you want to come and you want to stay for as long as you want, don't care. I am not attached to that. It's funny, she joined our monthly event and I didn't even realize that she was there. She even asked a question and I saw her name Rachel, but it didn't register that was my friend Rachel. I was in the zone of channeling at the time and I just wasn't registering who was there. Usually when I show up to our monthly events and I'm being the conduit through which messages are flowing, I'm in the zone. I'm just doing what I'm here to do. I'm doing what I feel called to do. I don't care how many people shows up. I don't care if you interact or you don't interact. There are some people in that monthly membership that I've never talked to and they've never talked to me and they've never showed up. They just watch the recordings, which is totally fine. I am not paying attention to that. I am here to do what I am here to do. So those of you who are business owners or you have some kind of business venture going, don't look for anybody to tell you, you're doing a great job. This looks really good. That was an awesome thing you created. That project was awesome. That book was really awesome. That this was awesome. Don't look for that. Fully charged. When you're fully charged, this is what's occurring in my life right now. I wake up each day and I go, do you still feel like this is fun to do? Do you still feel like you're being called to do this? Okay, good, cool. Yes, I do. And when I show up, I'm showing up because that's what my soul came here to do. I'm not showing up to attract clients. I'm not showing up to get more sales. I'm not showing up to get more people in my membership. That is none of my damn business. It's none of my damn business. I'm showing up to do what I'm here to do. And what I said to my girlfriend was, if I wake up one day and everybody unsubscribes, that has nothing to do with me. I will either say, is this my indication to move on to something else? Or do I show up and do it anyway? Because that possibility is there. Am I ready to show up and do it anyway, even if nobody's there? Because it's what I was called to do. Or is it time to move on to something else? Is something else calling me in that moment? I don't care how many people are there. That is not the source of my joy, the source of my peace, the source of my fulfillment. I'm doing what I'm called to do. And when I'm in this fully charged state, I don't ever think about who came in and who left. No, I'm like, what next do you want me to bring forth? What's the next message do you want for this gathering of people to hear? Which, by the way, for some of you who are in the August 14th, Friday, August 14th? Friday night, August 14th at 8 p.m. That message is all about awakening to abundance. And oh my freaking God, there's stuff that's downloading right now that's next level sourcing abundance. Let me tell you, it has more to do with you becoming more of your true self, by the way, but the way in which it's being sent to me is just, I can't wait to simply be the conduit through which Spirit wants to flow that message. I can't wait. But it doesn't matter to me who shows up. So those of you who you're in some kind of industry thing, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're an author, you're a poet, you're somebody that channels, you're somebody that does energy work. No matter what you're doing, you cannot source your sense of worthiness and completeness from your clients. Whether somebody shows up or not has nothing to do with what you're here to do on this planet. When you're fully charged, we'll talk about how to get there in a moment, but when you're fully charged, you just wake up and do whatever the hell you were called to do. And when you show up and do what you were called to do, that completes you because you did what your incarnation was meant to do on this planet. It does not matter if you write a book and nobody buys it. It doesn't matter if you write a poem and nobody reads it. It does not matter. You're doing what you came here to do. And that's the source of your joy, peace, fulfillment, completeness, worthiness. You're being 100% you. And whether somebody likes the way you do it or not, whether they approve of it or not, whether the message you brought forth is something they resonate with or not, is none of your damn business. You show up and you do what you were called to do because it's what you were put on this planet to do. And if one person shows up to receive it, that is the one person that was meant to hear it. And if 100 people show up and hear it, that's the 100 that was meant to hear it. Who shows up is none of your business. Let me talk about social media while I'm at it. Social media is awesome. Reach a lot of people, you connect with a lot of people. Here we are on YouTube, on social media. But social media constantly reminds you that you are not worthy until you get a thumbs up, until you get a little heart, all these little minuscule shitty things that they're trying to tell you to do. Which is why I always say to people, you could play with the little thumbs up, thumbs down button. If that makes you happy, go ahead, play with it. Ain't got nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. You go on social media, they're constantly sending you the message with likes, dislikes, thumbs up, thumbs down, emojis, blah, blah, blah. You're not worthy until you get one of them little hearts. You're not worthy until you get one of them little thumbs up, thumbs down. Come on now, people, know who you are. It's time to get fully charged so that when you show up on social media, you're doing it because you were called to share in this way. And it doesn't matter. You don't give a fuck whether somebody click anything with the little emojis or whatever little things they're playing with. I'm like, play with the little dashboard. That's fine. Go ahead, play. If you love the little check up, check down, whatever, play. You let them play with them little toys that social media gives you. That has nothing to do with what I came to this planet to do. It has nothing to do with that. So those of you who are participating on social media, you gotta get fully charged. Otherwise, you're constantly trying to fill up your gas tank with hearts and emojis and thumbs up. Nobody clicked. Nobody viewed. How many views did I get? Stop looking at that shit. It has nothing to do with what you're here to do. Why are you looking at how many people looked at what you did? Come on now, wait, stay awake. Don't let social media put you on the snooze button. Stay awake, wake up, stay awake. That's social media doing its thing. It has nothing to do with you. How many people viewed it? None of your business. How many clicked thumbs up? None of your business. Do what you came here to do. And if you feel inspired to share something, share it and move on. When I do something like this, I share it, I move on. I am not looking back at that. That is none of my damn business, whether you liked it, saw it, viewed it, clicked, blood. That's none of my damn business. I'm here doing what I came to do. Whether you subscribe, unsubscribe, participated, didn't participate, talk to me, didn't talk to me, I do not care. By the way, for some of you, write to me and comment on things or whatever. If I don't reply, don't source your satisfaction from whether I reply or not, boo. I am not the source of your worthiness. So if you write to me or you comment on my video and I don't acknowledge you, that don't mean shit. You are worthy just the way you are. So when you look to people for your worthiness and for your, like to tell you that you're okay and blah, blah, sometimes I reply, sometimes I reply, sometimes you write to me and I don't reply. That don't mean shit. It just means I didn't see you or I saw you and I just didn't have time. It doesn't mean anything. You have to be so fully charged that when you write to me, you're like, I'm writing to Allison, don't matter if she write or not, I'm just inspired to write. Right? And you just leave, you have to be that fully charged. I'm writing, but I don't care if she replies or not. I don't care. I want to write this because I want to get this out. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And you send me something, but I may or may not respond. I'm not the source of your worthiness. Don't look for me for praise. Don't look for me for affirmation. Source it from within. You don't need it. You don't need me to reply. You don't need me to tell you that you're okay. You don't need it. I'm happy to contribute. I'm happy to interact. I'm happy to have conversations. Sometimes I can, sometimes I cannot. Whether I do or not, don't mean shit. You are worthy on your damn own. You don't need it from me. So don't look to me for that. Don't look to anyone for that. Any creator or any person that you're connected to, don't look to them for that. Rachel is saying freedom is addictive. Yes to freedom. Yes, girl. Whew. Yes. Hang on. Let me go back. I'll get to all of your comments as long as you're here. As long as you okay with sitting here all day long. All right. So Pavitra, for example, my mom and grandma always expect me to talk to them always. And sometimes I don't feel like talking to anyone for weeks. Not because I don't like them or angry or anything, but I like my stillness. Oh, girl, that's me. And as you said, they seem to value or valid our closeness and relationship based on how often we communicate. And they view me not calling them um, as much as they want me to call as me being insincere, and they get hurt. Usually blame me for not caring. Asian families. Well, have you ever just explained? I mean, I've explained this to my family. Listen, my sister, woo, this is it. My sister lives here in Georgia. I didn't grow up with Thanksgiving, so Thanksgiving has no meaning in my life, right? A lot of you grew up with Thanksgiving if you live in the US and you're like, Thanksgiving is a big thing, holiday. That's never had any meaning for me because I don't have any memories of Thanksgiving. I came here when I was 19, 20 years old. That's when I learned about Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving has no meaning for me. It doesn't have any sentimental value or anything like that. As I became more and more awakened, my my sister used to come over for Thanksgiving and she would bring food and I would cook food or whatever. And the more I awakened to get, the less interested I became in holidays. I'm not interested in Christmas. I'm not interested in Thanksgiving. There's no holiday on the map that I'm sincerely interested in, right? And I'm not saying that's the way you should be when you're awakened. That's just my path, okay? My path. I just lost interest in a lot of holidays. I have a lot of interest in life and having fun in life and all that, but holidays, I don't have a lot of interest in. So one year, I just didn't feel like cooking and I didn't feel like having Thanksgiving. Okay. And my sister, expecting that we're a family, she's my only family member in the US. Of course, we're going to get together and have Thanksgiving. And I said, no, I just don't feel like it this year. Oh my God, she was hurt beyond hurt. She felt like I didn't want to be with her, and she's my only family member here. And how could I not want to hang out with her on Thanksgiving? And she felt so rejected, such rejection. Okay. How did I deal with it? I said to her, I've just gotten to the place in my life where Thanksgiving doesn't matter anymore. And it just doesn't feel that important to me. And I know it feels important to you, but it doesn't really genuinely feel important to me. And I like a lot of space and I like a lot of stillness. And over Thanksgiving, I would really rather be by myself in the park. And that's kind of what she thought I was going to have Thanksgiving with some other friend or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything. She goes, well, what about the kids? Our kids should get to know each other. They're the only cousins that they have in the same state. How could we rob our kids of getting together? And I'm like, that's the space that she was in, right? I'm like, my kids don't care one way or another. And if they did, I'd say the same thing to them. I know you want to be with your cousins. I could drop you off, but I don't want to be in that this year. And I literally stopped celebrating Thanksgiving. And for a while, she wasn't talking to me because she was mad. And I said to her, I was like, look, I just don't celebrate Thanksgiving anymore. And I just don't celebrate these things anymore. And I said, I explained to her where I was at. Now, whether she understood it or not was entirely up to her. But I said to her, here's where I'm at. I'm a freaking loner. Like, I'm such a loner. and I prefer stillness and being alone to any other option. That's just how I'm built. It's who I am. It's why I'm not married. It's why I don't want to live with anybody, right? And I think she came to understand after a while, but initially she was very hurt. But the best I could do is share my truth and share where I'm at. I didn't feel like cooking. There are times when I love to cook and other times when I really just don't feel like doing it, And for the most part, I really don't feel like having a big to-do over Thanksgiving anymore. And I had to just explain my truth to her. So I know your family is never going to understand who you are, perhaps, but it may be an opportunity for you to enlighten them to the fact that sometimes there are people on this planet who really just love being by themselves, right? Point them to my video. I think I have a video that's called Why I'm an Extroverted Introvert or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, on my old YouTube channel. But there are people like us who just love being alone. We just literally, like, I'm in love with stillness. I'm in love with being alone. I'm in love with sitting alone. I just love that. I really, truly love that. So I would say they don't understand you. Not that you need to be understood, but it may be an opportunity for you to say, I feel like you guys may not understand who I truly am. And I'm going to share some things with you that you may not understand, and I don't expect you to understand, but I'm just asking you to accept who I truly am. And this is who I am. And just explain it to them. This is who I am. How could you not be you? Right? Like, why would you choose to not be you just to satisfy someone else who's sourcing their love and worthiness from your gas pump? Telling you you ain't got no more gas. Pump is empty. All right. All right. Anne is saying, how can you be called to do something for others and then do it if no one is there to receive it? I've had that question a lot of times. The truth is, there's always someone there to receive it. Always. We have perceptions in our mind as to what that would look like. So we have a perception that it has to be a crowd of people on YouTube, or a crowd of people on a membership site, or a crowd of people on Facebook, or a crowd of people on, where that comes to see me on stage. Or we have that perception, right? It could be you just share it with your child. It could be you just share it with your friend in a voice text. It could be one of those things, right? There's always someone, whatever we feel lit up about sharing, there's always someone that it was meant for, that was meant to hear it. But we have our own cookie cutter thing as to how it was. Well, if I was meant to write this book, it must become a bestseller. Maybe you just write the book and you print one copy and you give it to your husband. And maybe that's the person that was meant to hear it. We think it was meant for a crowd. It may be, may not be. We think we have to have this big crowd tell us we're okay, and the accolades. That's not necessarily the way it was meant to go down. Who shows up is none of your business. None of your business. None of your business. Do what you're called to do, and the same inspiration that you sourced that book from will tell you where it was meant to be. And it could be a bestseller, could be a New York Times bestseller, or not. Maybe you were meant to write it to do a workshop. Maybe you were meant to write it to send certain pieces of it to people to change their lives in certain ways. But we always have some cookie cutter idea of what it's supposed to look like. I'm supposed to be on stage in front of 1 million people, right? And that's fine too. I'm not saying that can't happen or won't happen, but live much more free than that and just say, I'm going to do what I'm here to do. And listen, there were times when I was doing videos on YouTube and there were 0 views. 0. And I didn't care. I wanted to share it in the world. And then, 5,000 people came by, on my old YouTube channel, which I walked away from because I was complete with that experience. So it started out being 0 people. So to your question, sometimes it can start out being 0 people. It's like, nobody's going to show up, and just practice anyway. You know what I mean? But when you're fully charged and you don't need someone to show up for you to feel complete, like if you genuinely feel like showing up and no one else did, well, I genuinely feel like showing up. So maybe I'm supposed to do this as a practice run, you know what I mean? And do it from the same joy that inspired you to do it. But what happens is we get the joy that inspires us to do it, and then nobody shows up and we're like, maybe I wasn't supposed to. We get very depleted of energy. But when you're fully charged, you go back to that charged state where you're like, no, I know I'm supposed to do this. I know this is what I'm here to do. Sometimes what happens with no one showing up is fear, like you get inspired to do something, and then along the way you're aligned with fear, right? A fear of rejection, fear of people not accepting it, fear of people complaining about it or, talking bad about it or whatever, judgment, all that stuff starts to bubble up. Like first we were like really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm called to do. I feel it. And then the closer it gets, you're like, oh shit, what if people don't like it? And we move into a different energy, which then causes nobody to show up. Typically that's what's really at play. But even when that happens, it's just there for you, right? It's there. Everything is there for us, right? But when you're fully charged, you see that more readily. When you're not, you kind of look at the situation and you're trying to evaluate what it means. It don't mean shit. It just means something happened. Okay, move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense. Charmaine is saying, resonating so much because I've always felt this way. I do things for the experience, no strings attached to anyone or anything. Yes, freedom. It's liberation, man. It's liberation. Dolores saying, I feel the same about you, about holidays, but coming from a large family, it is expected to get together. And sometimes it's okay to just go, okay, fine, I'll go with the flow. That's less depleting than not going with the flow. But I know that we were all meant to be fully ourselves, like when you're there, are you fully yourself, and sometimes we just need to explain to family members, sis, I'm a loner. I had to say that to my sister. I'm a loner. She thought I didn't love her, that I rejected her, that I didn't care about her children because they wanted to spend time with my children and I'm not allowing that, which wasn't the case, but, because I didn't want to cook and, cook. I had to cook for her to bring the kids over. If I wasn't cooking them, they're not coming. I'm like, bring them over. I'm not cooking, But there was a whole lot of that going on. But after a while, I'm like, look, this is who I am and I have to live me. If I'm not living me, who the hell I'm living? I'm here for like how many years? Probably 100, because all my family lived 100. But I have 100 years on this damn planet. How can I not be me? If I'm not me, who the hell am I? I'm you, right? I'm doing what you want me to do. What about what I want to do? What if I just want to chill? What if I don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving? I just want to chill, right? But my joy was so inwardly sourced that even when my sister was feeling her rejection and feeling her pain, I did not allow that to deplete me. I was already she was going through all of that. And it wasn't that I didn't care about her. I knew what she was going through. I knew that she was feeling rejected. I knew that she was feeling like I didn't care about her, none of which was true. I was just being me. I was being the loner me that didn't really care to get together with family on Thanksgiving. That's the real me. That was the real me. So while she was going through all of that, what I was saying to myself is, she's 100% complete and whole by herself. She's totally fine, right? She may be feeling all of that right now, but she's source incarnated as well. She'll figure it out, And I didn't take that on as my burden to fix. The fact that she was hurting, and it wasn't that I didn't want to show her love. She wanted me to show her love through inviting them over for Thanksgiving and cooking. That's not me, right? I'll show you love by texting you, hey, what's up, girl? Let's chat, And maybe I'll visit, but she lives 2.5, 3 hours away from me, and I don't like to drive there either, So I'm fine with voice chatting, video chatting by text, whatever, and that's who I am. Yeah, I don't like talking on the phone. I prefer to voice chat than talk on the phone. That's who I am, right? And I can't be what somebody else wants me to be, because then I'm not being me. And this is my damn lifetime. I get to be me in this freaking lifetime. I get to be me 100%. You may not like me. You may feel hurt by who I am. I'm me, and I don't intend to cause pain. And I can try to explain that I'm not intending for that to happen, but I can't control how she perceives it, right? How she perceives it has more to do with who she is and her sense of where she's sourcing her joy and all that from than who I am. Whew, okay. Charmaine is saying chills, chills, chills. Something gave you chills. I don't know what. Avitra is saying that's helpful. Thanks. Let me go back here. Charmaine is saying resonating. Oh, okay, I've read that already. Rachel is saying, so true. That's been one of the most challenging things for me to get as a performer artist. Yeah, and our world is set up for us to look outside of ourselves for accolades and whatever. You know, we need somebody to go, yes, you did great. And Rachel is a singer, songwriter, actor. She's a diva. But we can't look to, like, when you do a song, don't wait for somebody to give it a thumbs up or like it or love it or say it was awesome. You know, if you want to share it because I love this damn song and I'm going to share it, you know, because I love it. And I hope somebody else loves it too. And if you don't, hey, that's fine. You know, when you do whatever you're doing in the world, do it because I'm called to do this shit. And whether you show up or not, or anybody wants it or not, I think it's the neediness for somebody to want it that depletes the energy from the calling. We need it so much that we deplete the energy from the calling. If you don't need it and you're just here to show up and do what you're here to do playfully and love it and, you know, all that stuff, then you can just do it from a place of freedom, not neediness, you know, and it's a different space to be in. Siafu, maybe it's meant for our own self, and doing of it changes us. I've had many things. I have done like full out videos that I never published. But because I did it, I moved myself, because sometimes when, like, me explaining this to you is evolving me. Because when I'm sitting with it inside of myself, I experience it in a very different way than me sharing it with you. By the way, those of you who are in Conversations with Spirit, I have a very special audio that I'm going to send to you tomorrow. Conversations with Spirit is evolving. Those of you who don't know what it is, you can go to AllisonPhillips.tv/CWS. But I've recently started to just sit with Spirit and go, you know, all the people in this gathering, you know who we are, you know what's most probable in our lives for this week. What do you most want for us to know? What message do you want for us to ponder and internalize this week, given you know what's most probable in our lives? And I would sit and just receive a message that's about 5 to 10 minutes long, and I'd send it out to the group. And I listened to that message each day. Last week, I got the inspiration to live the message in audio. And I would listen to the message and I would audio record. It's like an audio journal of what I was experiencing with the message from last week, those of you who are in CWS. And I sat with it each day. There are a couple of days when I didn't record, but I just went through how that message was changing my life during the week and what it was bringing up for me during the week. Shit came up. I was vulnerable in places, and I recorded it all. I am not going to put that in the downloadable area of CWS, but I will send it out for you guys to listen to. I'll put it in its own special place because it's very personal to me. And like I said, my shit came up. I was vulnerable in places. I experienced things that I didn't expect to experience from the message that we received last week. So I'll send you guys that audio along with the channeled message for the week tomorrow. But even that, that goes to what Siafu is saying. When I did that, like, I was listening to the message of the week, the channeled message for the week, each week, but I never experienced it in the way that I experienced it last week when I set the intention to audio journal living the message. Never experienced it in that way when I recorded it. And I was intending to share that audio with you all, but in places I'm like, I don't want to share this. So I'm going to share it with you all. But even if I didn't share it, it changed me in ways that I never thought possible. So I do agree with Siafu that sometimes you get called to do something and you go, this is for the world. No, it's for you. It's for you. It's for you first. Then it's for the world. Always for you first, then for the world. Like, this was for me first, and then it was for the world. Anna's saying yes to what Siafu just said. I just got clarity every time I've prepared for and done something to serve others. It has served me in my own growth, even if no one showed up. Yes. Rachel is saying, yes, that's where I was the last song I posted. Preach, Allison. Yes, girl. You just got to get to that place where you're so fully sourced that doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I'm here doing what I'm here to freaking do. And if everyone else is having a different, we're all meant, like each of you will hear what I'm saying in a very different way. Those of you who are in CWS, there's the message of the week that I sent out last week. I don't know how you experienced it. I'm pretty damn sure it's not going to be in the way that I experienced it. And you'll hear that tomorrow. But everyone experiences it in a different way. Some people will resonate. Some people won't resonate. You know, that's none of your damn business who resonates and who doesn't resonate. Let go of that shit. And it's time to move into this fully charged state where you're like, I am sourcing my energy from my higher self, not from human beings. And if you're looking for accolades and applaud and worthiness, and yes, you did this really well, don't look to that to continue. I don't care if you think this was done pretty well. I'm going to continue to show up by live stream and do what I'm here to do. You know, if you're in CWS, some of the messages that came through Spirit, you'll resonate, some you won't. Some you're interested in, some you're not. None of my damn business. I'm here to do what Spirit is calling me to do. And that's what I'm going to show up and do, you know? Okay, a couple other things where we tend to look outside ourselves to source energy. This is an interesting one, places and locations, because some people will say, I need to move to this place. Like I need to move to Hawaii to experience the lush green, and green really feeds my soul and my spirit. That's true. I love nature. But even if you put me on a desert island with no nature, no trees, no water, I'm fully sourced. Yes, I prefer to be out in nature every day. Yes, I prefer stillness. Yes, I prefer solitude. But if I didn't have that for whatever reason, I can be fully sourced, where I don't have to go to nature to feel okay. I love going to nature and what it makes me feel like. Yes, the sound of the birds, the sound of water, trees rustling in the wind, puffy white clouds, all of that feeds my soul. And if I had none of that, I'm fully sourced. So even that can be a potential source of giving your power away to the clouds and to nature, right? And you can come back and know whether I'm out. Well, what if you got sick and you can't go out in nature? What if you broke your leg or so you can't go out in nature? What are you going to be, sitting around completely depleted? No, you can source such fullness inside of yourself that whether nature or that island that you want to live on. I've been obsessed lately, by the way, with moving to Paraguay. Don't ask me why. Somebody posted something, piqued my curiosity, followed it, and now I'm obsessed with living in Paraguay. I don't know why, but that's my current obsession. Of course, 2 years ago, I was obsessing about living in an RV. Now I'm obsessed with moving to Paraguay. I don't know where that's going to take me, but I'm enjoying the obsession, and I'm researching and doing all kinds of stuff. I was even planning to go to Paraguay for my birthday in 9 days. There are no flights to Paraguay for good reason. But I'll get there. Maybe I'll go for Christmas. I don't know, but I'm going to Paraguay. I am going. You know what really attracted me to Paraguay? I read that it's the happiest place on earth, which ain't the claim. This right here is the happiest place on earth. So I know that's not truth, but it's the happiest place on earth. People are so laid back there, and they're very in love with life. Like the people there are just very in love with life. And I'm like, I want to experience surrounded by people who are in love with life. You know, I don't know. It just seemed like it's like a place for somebody like me who loves nature, loves solitude, don't really needs to have anything to do because they ain't nothing to do in Paraguay. But I love that. I really do love that. I told my son, we're moving to Paraguay. He's like, no. It's my 18-year-old son. So places and locations can be beautiful, But don't give your power away to that. You can be fully sourced. Friendships. People, when your friends text you and they don't text you back, what you feeling? What you feeling? Baby, how you feeling? I feel good as hell. You can feel good as hell whether your friend texts you back or not. I'm a prolific texter when I'm in the zone of texting. But if you text me, you may hear back from me in a day or two. If I'm not in that zone of texting, you may hear back from me in a day or two. Most of the time I'm able to text, within a couple of hours or whatever. But sometimes I just don't feel like texting, and I don't feel like paying attention to what's going on in text because I'm here. I'm here, and everything on earth feels like child's play. When I'm here, when I'm like, go into that zone, like fully merge into that zone, everything on earth looks like child's play. And I feel disinterested for a little bit. Not that you have to, but I just let myself go there. You don't have to let yourself go there, but I let myself go there. And when I'm there, I'm like, nobody texts me right now. I'm in there. Yeah, I'm full, I'm real full. I can't, there's nothing else I can eat right now. I feel I'm full. I'm so full. And it feels so energetically expansive. It feels like freedom. It feels like liberation. It feels like fullness. It feels so good that I almost lose interest with what's actually happening on planet Earth. So places and locations, friendships, be aware that you may be going to your best friend or whatever friends you have that you're constantly texting with or whatever, and then suddenly they stop texting and you're like trying to figure out what happened. Are they mad at me? Blah, blah, blah. No. Leave the gas pump. For me, whenever I text somebody and they don't text me back, I go, well, they must be having a hell of a blast in life. Off to my life. That's kind of how I go. I'm like, well, they must be having a blast. I need to go have a blast too. Let me not bother with whether they're texting me back or not. Things and possessions. I was attached to this house for a very long time. And I did a video on this channel called How My Home Became a House. And when my home became a house was when I let go of attachment. And I realized I don't need this house. This house doesn't mean anything. We make a lot of, and I'm going to do another live cast on how we put so much meaning behind things that it causes us a whole lot of grief. But I had to let go of my attachment to this home and realize that I don't need it to be okay in life. We have set up as a society, if you don't own a home, something's wrong. If you don't own a home by a certain age, something's wrong. If you're not married by a certain age, something's wrong. If you're not in a relationship, something's wrong. If you're a certain age and you're not in a relationship, something's wrong. If you're single for too long, something's wrong. And they have all these expectations around who you are being, none of which is true. They just made shit up. You know what I mean? So things and possessions, like the car that I have, my ex-husband who comes, when he comes to visit, he stays with me and my kids. He's my children's father. So whenever he comes to visit, he stays here. And every time he comes, he goes, Allison, you still have that car. You still have that car. Because I had that car when I was married to him 19 years ago. More than 19 years ago. But I was married to him when I had that car. So every time he comes, he goes, you still have that car? I'm like, why would I give up? They don't build cars like this anymore. And thankfully, the universe sent me my personal mechanic, who I found on the neighborhood site. But this guy comes to my garage and fixes my car whenever anything goes wrong. My car rarely ever has anything wrong. But he's dirt cheap, man. And he will fix anything. And compared to, I'll go to my mechanic and I'll say, this is broken on my car. And they'll be like, okay, that'll be $750. I'm like, dude, that car ain't worth but $200. I'm not fixing that. And then I found this personal mechanic and he charges literally 10 times less than the mechanic that you go. And that's when I realized he used to work for a mechanic. I'm going off track here, but he used to work for a mechanic. And he gave me the inside scoop on how much they mark up parts and labor when you go to a mechanic to fix your car. I was like, oh. He literally would, if I said this certain thing needs to be fixed in my car, he would show me the value, the price of the part, and it would be like $25. And I'd go to my mechanic and they'd tell me it's $600 to fix the thing. So now I have my personal mechanic. Betsy gonna stay alive for a very long time. because he charges everything is $50, $20, $25, $100. I could keep that car alive forever on them prices. Okay, Rachel is saying, that's been the latest attachment that I have released at a deeper level, romantic relationships and friendships. It's like I am a feather. Oh, I'm resonating with that at a real deep level, girl. It's like I am a feather and I allow life, the wind, to carry me wherever it likes. Yes. Yes. The arrival of people or leaving didn't have much meaning for me as well. I feel like I'm jumping off a cliff and saying, me, self, life, catch me. I trust you completely. Oh my freaking God. I am so feeling those words, girl. That's exactly where I am. That's exactly where I am. It's beautiful, beautiful. Sex is another place that people go. I'm not going to go there too far, but gentlemen, I don't think we have any in the house anymore. Let me see. Andrew. Andrew's still with us. Let me see if there's any men. Claude. Kelrick. Kelrick is a full-fledged adult now. Kelrick, Claude, Andrew. Gentlemen. I say that, but I'm built like a man in the sex arena. Y'all don't like me to talk like that. People be sending me text messages, not text, but when I'm very free, because I'm very free in my expression of sex and sexuality. And whenever I am very free in my expression of sex and sexuality, people write to me going, that was really fun, but girl, TMI. I'm like, it's only TMI for you because of your filter, sister, which has nothing to do with me. But I'm a fan of the sexual arena. I am a total fan when I'm in a relationship, when I have a deep connection with someone. Outside of that, I am not. But I'm built like a man in that arena. Sex on the daily is totally fine with me. Gentlemen, can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? I'm kidding. But it's not an addiction. Andrew says amen. It's not an addiction though. So, but you can't go to that as your source of joy, love. Because a lot of men see that as love, right? It's an expression of love. But that can't be your source of love, Andrew. Even though I got an amen. Can't be your source of love. You know what I mean? I'm built like a man that way when I'm in a relationship that is deep emotional connection first, has to happen first. And you got to give me a couple of months to get to deep emotional connection. Once I have that deep emotional connection, outside of that, I am celibate. Because you know what I discovered the other day? I'm demisexual, which is another label. Humans just make up shit. But demisexual sounded like me and I decided I like that label. Demisexual means you don't feel sexually drawn to someone unless you have a deep emotional connection with them. And I realized that that's me, which is why I could go for years celibate. Once I have that deep emotional connection though, on the daily, baby. But it can't be something that you need. You know what I mean? Rachel's saying, boy, in my 20s, I was definitely nympho. What does that mean? Nympho? Explain that. I don't think I've ever seen that word. But even when I'm in a relationship where I'm having a really deep emotional connection with somebody, that can't be a need. The minute it becomes a need, you screwed, because now they're in control of your happiness. You know what I mean? So you can't let that ever be a need. Sex addict with my romantic partners. Yeah, I think in my younger days, yeah, I was there. Not gonna lie. Now it's more of a playful thing. You know, sex on the daily is play for me when I'm in a deeply emotionally connected relationship. Otherwise, I'm totally celibate. But it can't be a need. You know what I mean? Once it becomes a need, now they are your gas pump. You go in there to fill up, and if they say no, shop's closed. Now you run on empty. You know what I mean? So that can't be the source either. When I'm fully sourced, baby, you say yes or no, don't matter to me. I'm happy when you say yes, though. But I don't need you to say yes. You know, it's like I'm happy there, but that's not the source of my happiness. It adds to my joy, but it's not the source of my joy. It's a very different thing. And it's definitely not a need, definitely not a need. Last one I'm going to touch on, and then we'll be complete, and I'll play the video for you. This video came from a Conversations with Spirit live event, where one of our members was saying, I feel like I can't access peace when I don't meditate. Whenever I miss my meditation, actually I can't finish because one more thing after this, but I feel like I can't access my peace when I don't meditate. And I was sharing my perspective with her, and Spirit broke in, interrupted me and said, let's take this. So I'm going to play that recording for you, and then I'll come back and wrap up our broadcast. I'll probably be here for another 15 minutes or so, but hang on one second. Let me just play this. Okay, hang on. Oh, that's a little loud. All right. Okay, so I'm going to share that video clip. It's about 8 minutes long, and then I'll come back. Share. Well, I do wonder, I mean, it's fine if meditation is your way of giving yourself permission to feel okay. I honestly don't, I'm aware that anything that we use to get to serenity, or anything that we use to get to peace, is more of a placebo. What are you trying to say? I'm being interrupted. Okay.
I get it. Placebo effect type of thing.
Yes, but my divine team was interrupting me as I was saying that.
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. They were saying, is that what you're saying? Okay, yeah, I get that. So they're sharing that everyone has their own path, and if that's the path that you're taking to feel peace, that's totally fine. Yet everything that we are choosing, whether it be tarot cards, crystals, meditation, even staring at the clouds, anything that we're using, my whole body's lighting up now. Anything that we're using to get to peace is not necessary to feel peace. It's okay to take that path, but the path is not necessary to tune in to who you are, because can I finish the sentence? Because you keep interrupting me. Okay, let me listen then. They're wanting me to listen, so let me listen. Right, okay. So what they're sharing is your higher self is always at peace. And as much as you can tune into your higher self in any given state or any given situation during the day, the pathways to peace are not necessary when you know. Okay, the pathways to peace are perfect as they are, because they were intended to get you as a vehicle. Yeah, to get you to as a vehicle. It's kind of like when you learn transcendental meditation and they give you a mantra and you say the mantra, say the mantra, say the mantra, and you go into this state of nothingness, right? So the mantra is the vehicle to get you to the state of nothingness, but you can get to that state of nothingness. I mean, I can literally close my eyes, release all thought, and I go into that state of nothingness very quickly. Very similarly, yes, I get that. So anything that you're using to get to that state of peace is a beautiful pathway to that state of peace. And they're saying what we would want for you is to understand that your state of peace is always there,
and you can tune in to who you are, because who you truly are is peace, is love. Your inner being, your higher self, is never feeling anything but peace and bliss and joy. If you're using a vehicle to get to that state of peace and bliss and joy, that's beautiful. But recognize that peace and joy is an inner state of being, not something you get to by using something else.
Mhm.
So what they're saying is, as you begin to accept that you are peace and that you are joy and that you are stillness, your attachments to the pathways begin to release, and you can move into who you truly are in any given moment, in any given situation. Your equanimity is at play when you know who you are. They're saying you're giving away your power to these elements that you call meditation and crystals and tarot cards, etc. They're saying, please do not give your power away to these things. You are peace. You can use meditation to remind yourself of the peace that you are. You can use meditation to come into the knowing that you are peace and into the experience of peace. But when you give your power away to meditation and you say, if I don't access meditation, then I cannot have peace, you've given your power away. So we would want for you to know that peace is yours no matter what. Peace is yours if your children are screaming. Peace is yours if your children are fighting. Peace is yours if you are in a disagreement with your spouse. Peace is always yours. And you can tap into that peace at any given moment in any given day. But you would have to release the belief that peace is only accessible through an element called meditation or an element called something else. You would first have to release your belief system that access to peace requires a pathway. It does not. Your access to peace requires a momentary awareness of who you truly are. You can in any moment know that you are peace. Know that your higher self is at peace at all times, and tap into the peace that you already are in any given moment. They're saying you are that, Lizzie, you are that, you are peace, Lizzie, you are peace. They're wanting to repeat that. Know that you are peace. Lizzie, the human element, gets into the busyness, but who you truly are is peace. That's who you are. And if you're able to tap in to who you truly are, not Lizzie, but your higher self is always at peace. Your higher self does not require meditation to feel peaceful. And when you identify with your higher self, you feel peace in that very moment, no matter what's happening. You feel at peace. If there's a riot going on around you, you can feel peace in that moment. If there's screaming going on around you, you can in that moment become aware of your higher self, your true self, who you truly are, is always at peace. They were going back to what Siafa shared earlier, that she heard from Abraham Hicks. Your higher self never leaves the moment. Your higher self never goes with you where you are. When you're feeling the busyness, when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not at peace, I'm not da-da-da-da, it's not necessarily because you didn't meditate, but because you believed that meditation was your source for peace. It is not. It is a pathway to access more of who you truly are, but the pathways are not necessary. They're okay. They're perfect for those of you who need to access who you truly are through those pathways. But when you know who you are, when you know you are at peace, when you know you are at peace, who you truly are, you are at peace 100% of the time. Lizzie isn't at peace in her humanness 100% of the time, but stillness, peace, joy, love, serenity is the natural state of your true self. And when you're able to tap into the natural state of your true self, you can tap into serenity in any moment of any day. Simply be aware that is accessible to you in any moment of any day, whether you meditate or not. It is okay to embrace meditation. It is not the source of your peace. Thank you.
It is not the source of your peace. And I won't add much more to that. Just sit with that, with whatever practices and processes you have. Be careful that you're not giving them too much power and not recognizing your own innate ability to tap into whatever you want to tap into, on its own, And I'll end with how to get fully charged from within. There is no one way. Everyone will find their own path. I'm simply sharing my path. It may or may not resonate. Number one is remember who you truly are, right? If you truly know that you are an eternal, indestructible being, if you truly know that, much of the fears that we have will dissipate. Much of the attachments that we have will dissipate. It's part of what I experienced this week and listening to the message of the week is just recognition that I'm a divine being, right? But we get so identified with the humanness that we are that we forget the divinity that we are. We forget that we are eternal, indestructible. Get that. Because people say that and they just kind of, willy-nilly say that. Yeah, I'm a divine being. Yeah, I'm a spirit and a human. Get that. You are eternal and indestructible. Indestructible. Eternal light being. Not a human being. When you firmly believe that you're all human, you behave like it. When you firmly believe that you are an eternal, indestructible, eternal light being, divinity, divine, source, God, all that is, when you know that, you never look to these petty little human things as the source of your joy. You can't look to another human for the source of your joy. Come on now. When you know who you are, you can't go there anymore. That knowing is too deep. That knowing is too sure. You can't go there anymore. Another thing that helped me is asking, who is having this experience? Is it the physical me or is it the eternal me? Now, we're all one. Yes, I get that. In your eternal state, in your physical state, whatever, we're all one. But here's some ways in which I do that, right? Someone says, Allison, what an awesome live stream that was, changed my life, right? The physical me wants to go, I did a good job. I don't ever do that anymore. I'm like, I'm done with that one. But let's say the physical me is going, good job, Allison. If you get attached to the praise, if you hear that and you go, thank God somebody thought it was good. I don't know if I said the right thing, but thank God somebody thought it was good. Now you're sourcing a level of completeness and a level of worthiness from that comment that person gave you. Same. Your spouse tells you something. That was such good food, babe. That was, girl, you know how to cook. You're like, my man loves my food. You know what I mean? You could go there and feel like a deep sense of worthiness from that praise, from that comment. Your boss goes, what an amazing job you did on that project, girl. That changed the department, blah, blah, blah. You walk home feeling worthy. They'll never fire me. They love what I do. They value me. I feel valued. All of that stuff can draw you into the illusion that that's the source of your worthiness, value, love, appreciation, all of that, right? At the same time, if you go, that's making me feel worthy and appreciated and all of that, but I'm already all of that. Who's having the experience of feeling that temporary sense of appreciation, worthiness, blah, blah, blah? It's the physical me. It's not the real me, where the source of all of that is abundant and ceaseless. But they can give me accolades if they want. They can give me praise, accolades, love, joy, and all that stuff. But that's not the source. It's when you feel drawn into that moment, like, they love me, they love me, he loves me, he loves me, she loves me, they love me. When you start feeling that, you're letting the source come from there rather than sticking with it here. So here's what I do. When people say, Allison, that was awesome, Allison, that was great, Allison, blah, 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 blah. I go, who's having that experience of the praise and the worthiness coming from that person or from that experience? It's not me. It's the physical aspect that I'm traversing this planet in. It's not me, because I have a limitless supply of that. And when you do that, that doesn't really faze me. I appreciate that you valued it. I appreciate that you loved it, but that has nothing to do with what I'm here to do. So when you give me praise, that doesn't elevate me. This elevates me. When you give me praise, that's okay. Let the physical apparatus deal with that the way the physical apparatus wants to deal with it. But my source of worthiness is here. That's occurring, and I'm the witness of that's occurring. A lot of times we become the witness of the negative stuff, right? Whenever negative stuff comes up, we go, oh, I'll just be the witness of it. Because we know that spiritual thing that we can do, right? Is just be the witness of the negative emotion that's coming up. But you can also be the witness of the positive stuff such that you're not attached to it, right? We get attached to the negative stuff because we make it mean all these things and so we struggle with detaching from the negative stuff. But we very easily get attached to the praise and the accolades and the people lifting us up and the people putting us up on a pedestal, right? You put me up on a pedestal, that has nothing to do with me. So when you feel that, when somebody gives you praise, when somebody gives you accolades, does it feel like it holds a lot of meaning, or does it feel like child's play? For me, you can give me accolades, you can give me praise, you can say, oh, girl, that was an awesome life, all that stuff is fine. That's you expressing what you experienced, which has nothing to do with me. It may be that I have had a positive impact on you, but you call that into your experience. You listened with another aspect of you that caused a shift to occur within you. That's not me doing anything in your experience per se. So those accolades that you're offering because you want to offer love and you want to offer praise and you want to offer whatever the niceties are, I am not attached to that. And I am not feeling that at any deep level because I'm getting so much more of that here. And it's showering down on me every damn day, such that when somebody walks by, like the guy who reconnected with me yesterday, he's always full of, you're so beautiful, and hey, my queen, blah, 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 right? If he's watching that, that's okay, boo. That's okay. But when I read that in a text, I'm not going, no, I'm like, that's what he feels. Cool. Because so much of that is coming from here. That text is minuscule by comparison to the queendom I feel in the knowing of who I am. when I tap into what I know to be true of my value and my worthiness, I do not need a man to text me and tell me I'm beautiful, and to text me and tell me I'm his queen, or I'm his queen for the moment. Because I know he gonna disappear and I'm gonna disappear shortly after we have our little flirtatious fling. But when you know all of that is, listen, y'all, I want you to hear me as I end this broadcast. When it comes from here, everything that's uttered outside of this feels so small, so small. I appreciate it. I get to have fun with this guy, right? He's gonna come to town, we're gonna go to dinner, we're gonna have fun, and he's hysterically funny, and he just makes me laugh, and I love it, and I have a good time. And I can have that human experience, right? But while it's happening, I can observe that my physical apparatus is enjoying this. That's not me. I am here in the knowing of who I am, such that this flirtatious thing or romantic thing or even a relational thing or relationship thing, whatever takes form in this physical experience, can be witnessed without attachment. Like, I can have fun with this guy. I can flirt with him. Like, we can have fun. We can laugh. We can do all this stuff. And I can genuinely have human fun with him. And I can be the witness of all of that occurring without me feeling any sense of attachment to it, where I go, it's making me feel really good. It's making my physical body feel good. And it had nothing to do with who I truly am. So when I'm there having this beautiful, fun, flirtatious, whatever, even if it ended up being a long-term romantic, not with this guy, ain't gonna end up there, but he knows that too. But it's, even if I ended up with someone where I'm having a long-term, beautiful, deep, heartfelt connection, it's still happening in the physical form. And I can still be the witness of that. I can even be the witness of beautiful sex and not be attached to it, because I can be a witness even in that moment of sexual passion, and I can still witness it and not be attached to it, because who I am is this. Who I'm not is all of this happening. As beautiful as it is, and as fun as it is, and as passionate as it is, and as flirtatious as it is, and as delicious as it is, in physical form, I can be the witness of all the goodness of it. Feel it in physical form and have no attachment to it, because this that I tune into, in the knowing of who I truly am, is so much more vast and expansive and complete and full, so full, so full, so full, that all of this happening out here is just icing on the cake. I'm already full. I'm already full. That's dessert. I'm already full. I can choose to have dessert or not, because I'm so full. And the dessert tastes real good. Dude, that chocolate cake though, feels real good, tastes real good, but I'm already full. I'm already full of spirit, of who I truly am. And so when you know who you are, when you really know, I'm not talking about because a lot of you mentally know that you're spirit in physical form. But when you truly know who you are in physical form, you know it at such a deep level. You tune into it regularly. Because a lot of you're like, spirituality is kind of like the peripheral of your life. You don't really tune into it regularly. Like, I have sessions where I'm just tuning in to the truth of who I am, the knowingness of who I am. And I'm carrying that with me. As I flow through life, I'm carrying that with me. And because I'm carrying it with me, I can easily become the witness of anything that feels like dessert. I can witness that with no attachment. You say, hey, Allison, you're beautiful. Thank you. That doesn't feel like something that makes me feel good anymore. It used to. It used to. But when I hear, Allison, you're beautiful. Hey, Allison, you're so sexy. Whatever. You're just uttering what you're experiencing from your experience. It has nothing to do with me, really. Whatever you're seeing is cool. That's fine. That's good. But I'm here experiencing such fullness that what you say in a text message to me, what you utter in a voice text to me, can make me feel good at a certain level, but I'm so aware that that level is transient, impermanent, that there's no attachment to it. None whatsoever. So I could go dance that dance with you, flirt with you, do your thing, whatever, we're doing our thing. And then once that's complete, I'm here. Even when that's happening, this is how you move into that state more readily, is if you can. Whenever you're having a fun experience with family, with friends, whatever, let the physical body have that experience. Don't label that you, right? And you can. I'm not gonna, battle over words. But when you have that, for me, when I have that experience, I'm like, Allison had a really good time. Me, who I am, always is on a high. It's not the party that put me on a high. It's not the person that put me on a high. It's not the accolades that put me on a high. It's not the appreciation and the praise and the all of that put me on a high. I live here where the real, true high can never be exasperated. And you out here in physical form, that's child's play compared to this high, baby. That is child's play compared to this high. This love. Siafu wrote a beautiful poem that she shared with me the other day on what she feels Source is saying to her in love. It was so beautiful. I got chills. And when you have that kind of love flowing to you 24/7, the accolades that come out from outside yourself, they're just there. It's like little gnats. It's like little gnats. It's like little praise. It's like, oh yeah, okay, great. When I hear praise, I don't go, oh. Because the minute I go, oh, I'm like getting sucked into the gas pump, right? I'm like, no, that's cool. That's great. That's awesome. I'm glad you feel that way. That's great. But this, who I truly am, and when you begin to practice being the witness of the goodness, because we have often practiced being the witness of the things that don't go well, right? You're having a terrible time. Your mind's going crazy. Right? Scaring you with all kinds of stuff, right? And you're like, I'm just going to be the witness of it. I'm not going to participate in the heaviness of that thought, right? And we're real practiced at that. Some of you can get out of the ickiness very quickly by simply becoming the witness of the thoughts that's flowing through your mind. But when people give you praise, their thoughts flowing through your mind. I am so worthy because they like me. I'm so worthy because I had 200 views on that video. I'm so worthy because look at all the hearts I got on Facebook. I'm so worthy because look at all the thumbs up I got. When you start feeling that, I'm so worthy because I got 10 more subscribers today, right? And you start feeling like, it's kind of like the audio that you listened to earlier with my friend going, I'm in this relationship now and feels so good. Right? When you look at the numbers of subscribers and it went up and you go, no. Went up. Okay. So what am I here to do? When you are used to sourcing your worthiness from who you truly are, when these things happen outside of yourself, it feels and looks like child's play. It loses its relevance. It loses its sting. It loses its attachment because you're so full. You're so full that it's like like a little gnat going outside. But you're in here in the fullness of who you truly are. Let the body have its fun. Even if the body goes, oh, look, there's 290 people now. It's going, Allison's happy about that. I'm here. Who I am is not Allison. Who I am is eternal. Who I am is source. Who I am is always full of worthiness. I don't need the numbers to go up for me to feel worthy. So when it does go up, it feels like it's something happening outside here while I'm here. Be the witness of what's happening in the real world, so-called real world. I heard somebody arguing about whether the coronavirus is real or not. I'm like, this whole life isn't real. When you get dead, you're going to realize none of this was real. Whether Rona is real or not, who the hell cares? All of life is not real, you know? But when you can source all of your worthiness, your sense of completion, all of that comes from within, you can look at all of that happening and you don't feel any attachment to it. Somebody says, you're so beautiful. Thank you. I don't feel any drawnness into that comment. You know what I mean? Your boyfriend, your lover, whatever, sends you this amazing text, right? And it's okay to feel, you can feel it from a human perspective. You can go, oh, so cute. That's so romantic. Ooh, that turns me on. Ooh. You know, all that's cool. All that's fine. But I know that's not me. I know who I am. I know that's not me. And so my physical body, let the body have its time. Let the body enjoy the sex. Let the body enjoy the accolades. Let the body do its thing. But you have a knowing that you're not the body. And the body is enjoying all. Let the body enjoy it, right? Be the witness of the body having fun with that thing. But you're here. And when you're here, it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing. In those moments of praise, in those moments of accolades, in those moments of feeling high on an external thing, allow yourself to release your attachment to it. It doesn't require you saying or doing anything. It's just you going, I'm not going to get attached to that because I've got this going on. And the more you let the body have it and you don't have attachment to it, the more you tune into your worthiness from who you truly are. Give yourself the space to tune into who you truly are, such that when all these things happen around you, you're unaffected because you're so fully charged, that you're not looking for gas pumps from accolades, gas pumps from all these different things in life. It's like they happen and the physical body loves experiencing it, but it's the physical body that loves it. That's not who you are. You're here. And when you know who you are, that does not affect you anymore. You can let it go. It can happen. The boyfriend can call, he can not call. He can text, he can not text. He can flirt, he can not flirt. He can walk his fine ass out the door. He cannot. It's okay. Right? You're here. You're like, hey, I'm good. There's not a time. There's never a time when who you are is not okay. Never a time. Now, the physical body could not be okay. Physical body could be falling apart. Physical body could be having some heartache, heartbreak, whatever. But that's the physical body. Be the witness of your physical body happening while knowing that that's not you, the eternal you. When you become tuned into that reality and you give back all of that stuff to the body, let the body have the flirting, all that stuff. The body's having all that. Yeah, that's what I'm here to do. Have fun with all of that. And the body's having all the fun, blah, blah, blah. But it does not affect who I am. That's the body doing its thing. Let the body do its thing. I'm here. And when you know that to your core, you're in an entirely different space. Entirely different space. Siafu is saying, Rachel is saying, this is so heavy in a good way. Beautiful. Siafa is saying, when I've received adoration from someone, I've literally felt like I was transparent and the adoration was flowing through me. What a beautiful way to see it. I love that. Let me read that again. I love that. When I've received adoration from someone, I've literally felt like I was transparent and the adoration was flowing through me to my source. It wasn't even for me, but I felt it fully. Yes. And you could feel it fully, yet not feel like you need to grab onto it to feel okay and be okay. Rachel is saying, that's beautiful, Siafo. I've had a similar experience as well. Yes, 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 yes. Whoo, let me tell you. Go back to my song. Woo, child, tired of the bullshit. Dust your shoulders off. Keep it moving. Yes, Lord. Good as Hell by Lizzo. All right. I am complete, y'all. I'm done. 3 hours later. What I will try to do is re-listen to this 3 hours, God help me, and put in, this is one of those broadcasts where I do want to do this. It might take me 3 or 4 days to go through it and put in quick links, which I often do in very long videos like this. Quick links to different things so that you can quickly go back to parts that you may want to re-listen to. I'll try to do that over the next several days or so. YouTube has to finish the audio. YouTube has to finish the audio, and because it takes a while to process the audio as well. So I am complete. Does anyone have any questions before I close out? No, so some of y'all are already spent. You've been sitting here for 3 hours. Y'all are really, really cool to sit around here for 3 hours listening to Allison blabber on. But yeah, that's why am I sharing all of this? We're moving into the 5th dimension, and we can't go there while we're constantly gassing up externally. We are electrified, self-powered vessels of light and love. You are love. You are love, not human love, not human love. You are love, and you are light. You are light and you are love in a beautiful way that cannot be experienced at a human level. And when you can connect with the light and the love you truly are. Some of you heard all of this at a mental level. You haven't experienced it at a deep level yet. When you do, come back. Just like I told my friend, come back and go, Allison, damn girl, I get it now. I get it now. And then you will feel that fullness. You will feel that fullness such that everything happening outside of yourself is literally looks like child's play. It looks like child's play. It doesn't look important. It looks like, yeah, that's what's happening out there. All right. Thank you for the happy birthday. It is August 4th, not yet, but I'm 55 and I'm gonna cash in on all of them 55 discounts for seniors, even though they might card me and think I'm not a senior, but that's all right. I'm just joking. You are very welcome, Tobago. Thank you, all of you, for being here and sharing this experience with me. I will do my best to put in quick links because I really do believe if you're not here yet, and there's nowhere to be, it's simply more and more evolution. This is where I am now. I am sure, for sure, there's more evolution ahead of me as well. So as you continue to evolve, share with me, especially those of you who are on my email list. I love hearing your stories, even though sometimes I can't reply to every single person. I love when people reply and go, this is what this did for me. And it's just beautiful to hear. So I thank you all for being with me here today. And I'm going to close out. Bye, everybody.